seconds. Oh, only 5 more seconds. Pro streamer. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to number 2 on the stream schedule. Coming at you today, 2 for 2 today on this lovely Wednesday afternoon. Thursday afternoon? I think it's Thursday, actually. It is a Thursday afternoon. It's been a long day. It's been an exciting day. Fenix V2 Block 1 is in front of us. We had a wonderful, wonderful first leg today, going from Auckland down to Queenstown. Beautiful, beautiful scenery, beautiful flight. Everything went well. Too well, one might say. So we're going to up the heat a little bit here with this Fenix 320 Block 1, and we're going to try to break it. So I don't want to just get in here and break it and try to be mean and say, oh, look, the airplane's broke. It flies like complete doo-doo. What we're going to do, we're actually going to do some functional tests on this airplane. Some areas where I thought the airplane might have been a little bit lacking in the previous version. So quick rundown of what we're going to do. No VATSIM. Can't declare an emergency if you're on VATSIM with no air traffic control. So, no VATSIM. But what we're here in Las Vegas. It's hot. It's 35°C. There just happens to be a 20-knot crosswind right now. 20 to 26-knot gust crosswind right here in Las Vegas. What we're going to do, we're going to load up a very heavy 320. We're going to take the 320 off crosswind takeoff on a very heavily loaded departure. We're going to try to see how it handles on the altitude constraints with the power performance. I just did a departure not too long ago out of Vegas where it was super hot, and we barely made the altitude restrictions. So we're going to kind of do the same thing on that departure. After we kind of complete that, kind of see what we do, I might throw a hold in there just to see how it enters and exits the hold, immediate last second. And then we're going to come right back around here into Vegas. We're going to set up for a Cat 3. Now, it works out perfectly because the Vegas glide slope is misaligned. If you follow the glide slope in Vegas here, at least on my Flight Tampa scenery, it drives you into the dirt, which is perfect because we're going to drive it all the way down to about 50 feet, and we're going to execute a last-minute go-around. Autopilot engaged with the crosswind, heavy and high temperature, high-density altitude. We're going to do the go-around. On that go-around, that's where things really seem to get a little bit more spicy. We're going to shut an engine down in the go-around. So we're going to do a single-engine go-around in Las Vegas. Worst case scenario, we're going to fail an engine. We're going to comply with a single engine out procedure, hopefully. We're going to fly back into Vegas. We're going to vector ourselves in, and we're going to hand fly a single engine approach, overweight, right back into Vegas here. After we complete that, that's kind of our rundown of automation testing. Then we're going to we'll reload the sim. We're going to zap over to St. Martin, which is my favorite crosswind testing airport because there's nothing to bother you. No scenery bugs, nothing. It's literally you and a piece of pavement, and we're going to crank up the winds in manual weather, see how far, how much crosswind we can actually throw on this airplane and trying to keep it on the runway. Now, one other thing to note. The Fenix devs recommend linear curves across the board for your sensitivity and stuff, which I have done. I have also removed all my rudder curves. And I'm doing this because I want to see what the rudder is like baseline, and then if I need to adjust it, we'll adjust it live on stream. I use the MFG crosswinds, and I feel like they're a pretty solid rudder pedal. I haven't had any issue with them, but I did have a little bit of curve and saturation on my last setting. So I've removed all of that. We're straight linear, same with the sidestick, but that's always been the same. And we're going to see if we need to put in our own little adjustments, our own little tweaks. That way, what might help me might help you. So, I hope you guys are ready. I got another coffee here. We're going 2 for 2 on the coffees as well. So, who's ready to get this thing started? Let's fire it up here. Here we go. Diego, good to see you, man. Welcome to the stream. Zach Lewine, good to see you. Fubar's here. All right, let's go ahead and fire this up, shall we? We're gonna do not super long on the prep here, right? We know what we're doing. We're coming in. We're gonna get it loaded up. The sounds are awesome. Everything's good. So I'm just gonna kind of run through all this stuff here. Nice switch sounds, of course. Nav 1. Oh, one thing I did forget to do is a battery check. So we're gonna check that. I have a fault light in my fuel pumps. We'll have to look at that in a second. But yeah, we're going to build it up here, and we're going to back off the gate. I will manually load the airplane with ground services on weight and balance too. Hand flying is noticeably different. Not just flare law is different. It's not so different that it's like flying a new plane, though. You'll get used to it quick. Yeah, so the reason I really want to do this, too, is because I've only done one landing in it, and we were trying to get a butter out, trying to screech a butter out for the New Zealand giveaway. So that's why I want to do some actual real world. I'm just going to fly it like a real airplane and then react from there, see what happens. So we're going to load it up on passengers. We're going to take about, I want to be a gross weight of about 162. All right, we're going to be 163,000 pounds gross weight. That's what we're going to be. So we're going to be well overweight, but we're doing this for a reason. So no cargo. Actually, this might help with the CG. Let's do this. Let's move this up a little bit. Let's move this down. There we go. That looks better. Let's go ahead and load that instantly. Dismiss. Max takeoff is 161.7. So we're going to be right at max after we finally start up and get out of here. Wolf Winter, welcome to Commercial Pilot. Glad to have you join the channel. Exclamation point, welcome. If you want to see your new perks here on the channel, but a pleasure to have you on board. Thank you for supporting the channel as a commercial member, and welcome on board. Is this still in beta? No, this is full up, ready to go right now. So, all right, let's come down here, initialize the aircraft. We're gonna do a Vegas to Vegas flight plan. I know it says Fenix in there, but we're gonna go Vegas to Vegas. So we're operating as Bourbon 357. Cost index 55, it doesn't matter. We'll do a cruise altitude of 10,000. We'll align on ref super quick here. Confirm flight plan, Las Vegas, departure 26 right. Off 26 right, I want to do the Gidget, and I want to do it to Virkin. I think that's the one I want to do. We'll have to wait till it loads. We'll get a GPS position. We'll come back to that. All right, from there, I'm going to leave that. Now we're going to go secondary initialize. This is going to be very important. Las Vegas, in the secondary flight plan, arrival, ILS 26 left, and I'm going to pre-select this as a Cat 3. So in the perf approach page on the 26 left, I'm going to put no in the DH here. Oh, we already screwed it up. Secondary. Hot Top 7876, welcome to the channel as well. Another commercial member joining the channel. Glad to have you on board. Welcome on board. Glad to have everybody here. We'll do approach via Preno. Now, why? It's kind of interesting. Maybe because we're not initialized. All right, so we're going to have to leave that there. But let's go back to our secondary. Departure 26 right. Secondary. All right, so Las Vegas 268 at like 10. No, what did I want to do? I want to do Las Vegas 260 at 10. Las Vegas there. PBD 01. There we go. That's all I want for right now. We're going to leave that in the secondary. Hey, mate, does your sidestick have the same tension as a real 320? Casual aviation. Great question, and I'm going to get to that here. I probably should have done some of this pre-stream setup because, the majority of this stream, this is not your typical A to B stream. We're doing a lot of troubleshooting. I'm here to answer your questions the best I can. As far as sidestick goes, this is going to be a big deal. I've had... Where's my Discord? 7 new messages, and I already read probably 4, so there's probably been like over 10 messages about my sidestick settings for the V2. Hardware is going to be a big player in this airplane. Now, from what I understand, when Fenix was developing the flight model, especially the flare and like landing and just how the airplane hand flies, they've been using a high quality sidestick or a heavy sidestick. I've been telling everybody from the beginning of time that in order to really feel and enjoy, maybe not enjoy is the wrong word, how to really replicate how the airplane, how an Airbus flies with fly-by-wire, you need to have a proper side stick that you're using. Now, the top of mine, it's super fancy, FSprojects side stick. You can get them a link in the description. But the base of this side stick is actually just a Thrustmaster Warthog base. I tried numerous bases. The Warthog base, for me, has the closest to real life tension that I could get in all aspects, whether that's holding in a bank angle, pitching for a flare, or nosing over if I'm doing stall recovery. The Thrustmaster Warthog base is what I've gone with. This is a huge difference than this, which a lot of you are using. So you have to bear in mind that what you see on my stream and what my settings are is, it may feel completely different for you on this. This, I am not even, when I bought this TCA Airbus side stick, I was so upset with my purchase that I went down the rabbit hole to find the ultimate Airbus side stick, which led me to this combination right here. Now, this is not, I wouldn't say this is a bad piece of hardware. I would just say this is not a realistic piece of hardware. This is more of a something that you would, this is for like, this feels like a toy compared to what this feels like, all right? And I'm trying not to hurt any feelings, because I know there's a lot of people that have the side stick. But that doesn't mean you can't get the Fenix to fly well with the TCA side stick. It just means you're probably going to have to add some type of curve, perhaps, or sensitivity setting. But the TCA purchase that I made, I was so unhappy with how it felt flying the Airbus, I said I have to go on the ultimate side stick research project. So check out, there's a link. I have a video on my channel about that whole process of why I went with the side stick that I went with. Holiday season is coming up, and this is not a bash on, like some people, oh, you bash Thrustmaster. No, this is a Thrustmaster base, okay? I'm not being paid to tell you that. The Thrustmaster Warthog is the base that I'm using here. So then there's other options. There's like a Verpal base, and then there's or a VKB. I can't remember what it is. Go check out the video. But just keep in mind that what I'm talking to you about today is a Thrustmaster Warthog base, and then I just have a grip on top from FSprojects. All right. But that makes a huge difference. A huge difference. I'm telling you. I mean, it's such a massive difference. It's like going from Xbox controller to having a yoke. All right, that's the type of difference you will feel when you fly the Airbus. So that's why I kind of said a long time ago that, why do people enjoy flying Boeing so much more on sims? And I think a lot has to do with having a yoke. When you have a yoke, you are a yoke to a yoke-driven aircraft. Oh, you are so much more engaged with the airplane because you get at least the sort of realistic feelings and motions. And with the TCA Thrustmaster yoke, with the Thrustmaster Boeing yoke, that pendular motion, oh my gosh, it makes yoke-driven airplanes so much fun to fly. If all I had was a yoke and then like a TCA side stick, I would not enjoy flying Airbus. That's why I went down the rabbit hole of trying to find the perfect combination for me. So that's just something to throw out there. Holiday season's coming up. If you want to buy something for your sim, if you love Airbus, maybe you think about going down that rabbit hole. Dougal says, I have a Verpal and I absolutely love it. Yes, a Verpal is also very solid. I had a Verpal as well. Actually, I have a Verpal. I have a Verpal CM2, which it's actually a more high-tech stick, and it's actually got some better components on the internals for long-term longevity and tweaking. But what I found as far as just getting the tension against load, if that makes sense. Like when I put in a bank angle and I hold it, when I was flying with the cam setup, like whether it's a Verpal or the VKB, I preferred the Thrustmaster feel. Not saying that Verpal is not as good, my preference. So, but yes, Verpal, if you're gonna go with a high quality side stick, Verpal is probably the top notch side stick base to go with. I have a VKB as well. VKB was kind of the OG like cam spring setup, and then Verpal came along, and then Winwing actually has an Airbus stick combo that you can buy as well. I would put Winwing below the Verpal just in terms of quality components, but there's nothing, I'm not saying that it's bad. I also have a massive Winwing setup. I have a Winwing, I think I have a Collective, oh no, that's a Verpal Collective. I have a Winwing Super Taurus. I got a couple of the Winwing hardware pieces as well. But if I were to rank it, it would go Thrustmaster base, Warthog base, or the Verpal, or the Winwing, and then I'd rather play with an Xbox controller than a TCA side stick, if I'm being completely honest. So, but that's at default value. You could put the time into tweaking your TCA stick, and you'll probably get it good enough to where you will enjoy it. So, Rusty C says, yeah, I'm well into my TCA Boeing. It's great for yoke for any. Oh, yes, Rusty, the TCA, the Thrustmaster Boeing yoke. Oh my gosh, it is probably the latest game-changing piece of hardware that to hit the flight sim market. So the yoke that Thrustmaster came out with, it just blew my mind. It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. All right, I know I'm not here. I'm supposed to not be here talking. We're supposed to actually be getting this thing set up here. So let's go ahead and finish it up. But we're not doing a lot of setup. This is kind of a setup stream. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the APU fired up right away. That's all good. That's all good. Actually, before I fire up the APU, let's do a quick battery check, because that always used to fail, right? Electrical page. Let's come up here. 1, 2, and off. Do I have any experience with Scalarchy? I do not, actually. Scalarchy was a little bit too much on the price point for me. I don't have any Scalarchy stuff, but I have heard that it is really nice. Basically, now you're getting into cockpit building, right? Scalarchy is cockpit building rabbit hole, whereas I wanted to find somewhere in between cockpit building and entry-level hardware. So that was the path that I went to look after. That's how I found Throttletek, and that's how I found FSprojects, and then of course Cat 3 Design for the tiller as well. Sorry. Okay. Your FPS has not improved. The sounds are glitching when I move the camera, and displays are lagging like crazy. TV flight, did you do a fresh install, number 1? Number 2, do a restart after a fresh install, and then give it a shot. And if Cat still doesn't do it, then that might be something you have to take up with a support ticket. But I know there have been some issues, so remember, it's there's a few, it's probably going to take a couple days for everybody's system to be tested out, and then I'm sure Fenix will have remedies for the rest. So here we go. Let's go ahead and fire up the APU. I do love the APU sounds. Let's listen to them. Ground control does turn on. I'll turn it on up here. We're not really doing any flow patterns on this stream. This is more of a, let's get the airplane fired up. I want to test some stuff, and we're going to test the automation. I did need to check the Las Vegas single engine procedure, though. I got to build that. I'm looking it up here on my real world chart real quick. Foobar. Now that is a bug that I have not heard of yet. That's very unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that, man, because that is obviously groundbreaking. All right. Let's come back inside real quick. We got the APU up and running. Let's go ahead and I want to build a secondary. So real quick, secondary PBD. It's off the Las Vegas. All right, 3 miles, and then it's PBD 01. We're gonna go PBD 01. So I'm taking a waypoint off of 01, and I'm gonna make a right turn or a bearing of 035, and we're gonna go out for like 9 more miles. There we go. All right, that looks semi good. Put the terrain on, and you can see why. All right, looks good there. All right, so that is done. That'll just give us a rough thing to nav to in the secondary when we actually get to there. So our secondary is completed. That looks good. All right, prog perf. Let's do some perf data. Let's send some data out because we're going to be hot and heavy. The new Fenix V2 is stuttering a lot in my sim. Borna, I'm sorry to hear that. Remember, I am not here. I'm not a support member. I have no internal knowledge of how it works, but the things I'll keep telling everybody is do a fresh install, restart after installing, and then go from there. But I'm sure there are going to be additional issues. It just hit the V2 Block 1 just hit the market today. So optimum packs on. Let's sync live weather, 32 degrees. Let's see what it gives us here. Logan Hall, yeah, that's what they tell me. Do you know what display synchronization does? Joey Bagpipes, it's, from what I heard, it basically forces a synchronization to happen, but it can tax your system, and I have not used that option because I haven't had that issue. But that is an option in the Fenix Fenix app, I should say. 41, 48, 50, flaps 2, and we're not going to flex. What was it? 41, 48, 50? 41, 48, 50, flaps 2. Oops, 150. Now, we won't flex because the temp is going to get up there hot enough. Now, in a thrust reduction acceleration altitude, we got to manually update this one here. It's going to be... So worst case scenario, before Leland on the departure, if we pop an engine, 3,200 is our acceleration and reduction across the board. So 3,200, engine out, 3,200 feet. Right there. Boom. All right, so that is set. If you had a super high budget, what side stick throttles would you recommend? Well, I would start with Throttletek throttles, and then I would watch my video on the side stick and then make your decision there. Either go with a VKB, I keep saying VKB, I'm sorry, Verpal. You go with a Verpal base and a FSprojects grip, or you can go with a Thrustmaster base and an FSproject grip. Or you can go ahead, if you have unlimited budget, you can spend like $1,500 for just one side stick that you'd put in a real sim. No star for Fenix, Kyle. We're not actually going to get there. All right, so let me just go ahead and make sure everything else is done. We need to do our init B, so let's go back to weight and balance, and then we're going to get out of here. We are 132.7 and 29.5. 132.7, 29.5. Our block fuel, 30,000 pounds. So this is roughly the same load that I had when I took off out of Vegas not too long ago, right about that 161,000 pound mark. So that is good. Our fuel is set. Everything else looks good there. Let's get our constraint mode on, hit the magic barrel ref key, 29 or 9 or 4 across the board. I'll set an initial top altitude of 10,000 feet. And with that done, we'll do ground control can come on, that can come off, APU bleed can come on, and let's go ahead and just push back and get out of here. Nope. We'll close up the doors ourselves because I think we have, we'll get rid of the GPU, the stairs. There we go. All right, so the plan again, recap.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Hello. We're going to push back. We're doing a heavy RNAV departure. I want to see power performance and hot density altitude. It's 35C. We're 161,000 pounds roughly. We're going to see how the airplane behaves. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty darn accurate. Then we're going to do, what I did forget to mention is once we get up a little bit on the departure, we're going to turn all the automation off. We're not going to go full-blown stalls, steep turn. We're not going to do full-blown stalls and alternate law today. That's coming from the check ride prep stream. Today, I'm going to get up. We're going to do just some basic fly-by-wire. We're going to do some more roll tests. We're going to do some pitch tests. We're going to do a set of steep turns. That's it. We might do one normal law stall just to see what happens. And then that's when we come back. We're doing an RNAV approach, or I'm sorry, Cat 3 autopilot crosswind approach. Go around, pop an engine, single engine missed, hand flow and single engine approach back into Vegas. So we're going to see how this puppy performs. Flight Dispatch 320, welcome on board. Glad to see you, man. Have you tried Fenix GSX? I have not yet, Paul Parker. I've heard it's good, though. On the EOC with a right-hand turn, if the right engine is out, I don't even need to read the rest of your comment because I know where you're going with this, and I have an answer because I was just thinking about this before the stream started. I want to go nose left, tail right.
Release parking brakes, please.
Our brakes release, clear push. Get the beacon on.
Commencing push.
So,
All
thrust set.
Start at wheel.
It's not a worry necessarily, but it is a worry, okay? So on this particular departure procedure with a right-hand turnout, if you lose the number 2 engine, that is worst case scenario because now you're turning into a dead engine. But you just have to be careful and the airplane should manage it just fine. But you're absolutely right. It is less of a factor than, say, on a propeller-driven aircraft, but it is still a factor. When I did a quick test earlier today, I shut an engine off, turned the autopilot on, and turning into the operating engine, the autopilot handled just fine. No surprise there. But when we go missed on our Vegas approach here, we're going to go miss. I'm going to just pop an engine right at missed approach. Worst case scenario, I'm going to fail the number 2 engine. We're going to have to turn into the dead engine, overweight, high density altitude and gusty winds. So it'll be a spicy one. It's spicy meatball. Aviator Nick, thank you for the 5 New Zealand dollars, my friend. Appreciate you. I'm at work still, sneakily watching the stream, but it's always a great time with V1 streams. Hey, Aviator Nick, glad you're enjoying the content. I know you're all jazzed about New Zealand. We're going to be back in New Zealand, maybe even tomorrow. I think we might, as much as I would love to continue to fly some Fenix ops, we might have to take out the ATR tomorrow and go into Wellington. Or, I don't know, yeah, might have to bust out that ATR tomorrow. So, we shall see. Only time will tell. I'm not flying so much this month anymore, so there's going to be more streams coming. A lot of New Zealand stuff. Absolutely loving the New Zealand tour. The scenery is breathtaking. You know, and I want to experience it a little bit slower and lower in a turboprop.
If there's anything that I've learned is never board a
Oh, no.
one flight in the late afternoon from Las Vegas. I'd have better luck sitting next to Carly Simmer at the Cockpit machines.
Cockpit to ground. We have a start.
C2A, appreciate the $5 bank angle check, my friend. Yes, you do have better luck sitting next to Callie Simmer on the Concourse slot machines. For some reason, whenever I decide to get pissed off at an airplane and try to break it, it's Vegas and it's mid to late afternoon. So C2A, it's too late now. We've already closed the door. No, we're not going back to the gate. And just buckle up that seatbelt sign. Or buckle up that seatbelt is what I meant to say. All right, let's go ahead and start them up. 1, then 2, because we're Americans. Let's listen to the engine start sounds. They are very nice. I will say Fenix really cleaned it up. Did a great job on the engine start sounds. I like them.
Unlocking gear.
Oh, of course, GSX is talking to me. Did I turn the APU bleed on? Surely I did. Got awful quiet.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
Love it. You can hear. I mean, when you hear sounds on the Fenix, you know its system's powering up, which is awesome. Hydraulics powering up, just everything is great. Nicholas, the pedals I'm using are the VFG. What are they? MFG Crosswinds with the hydraulic dampener. There's a couple reasons why I went with the MFG Crosswinds. They haven't let me down yet, and I know take my advice with a grain of salt. I've never experienced the Thrustmaster TPRs. I believe that's what they are, the TPRs, the like heavy pendular ones. The reason I went with MFG is because I really wanted to have some variety and, not variety, but like a seamless interchange to flying helicopters where like you want to push a pedal in and you don't want it to come back. So the anti-torque pedals on a helicopter are a little bit different. So I used to do a lot of helicopter stuff. So that's another reason why I went with MFG. Is I felt it was just a little bit more versatile than the TPRs. But again, take that with a grain of salt. I've never actually used a TPR pedal, so I hear they are good. Oh, Steven, you better not go vape in the toilet, man. None of those. No more of that. No more of that. Sounds like we got 2 good engine starts. Yes, we do. That's going there. That's going there. Flap 2. Can I try to input a squawk code? Yeah, what's wrong with the squawk code? Let's do a squawk code of 3662 Club back in the day. Any brickyardigans around here might remember that. 3662 Club. Alright, that's coming on. That's coming on. And I think we're pretty much ready to go. Again, we're not doing... What was our trim setting? Up 0.1, so pretty much a nil. We'll go here. We'll do a little up 0.1 cheater mode. Alright. Brakes released, taxi light on, APU bleed is coming off. Let's go. Now, I remember on my last stream I showed you how easy the airplane started to taxi away. We were 140,000 pounds. Now we're 161,000 pounds sitting on the hot, sweaty ramp in Vegas, where it is much harder to taxi. So, whatever they did, whatever Fenix did with ground friction, I haven't had enough experience to say it's perfect yet, but it is a giant leap in the right direction. A little bit of breakaway thrust there, and now we can continue on. How do you hit the magic barrel ref key? It's a secret. It's B. B is the magic barrel ref key. Ramon, welcome to the stream. Control curves, app reviewer will. Everything has been linearified, and this is the one thing that is different on this stream than the last stream. My controls for rudder, I reduced the null zone to 3 instead of, I think 10 was in there. And I don't know if we're going to keep that or not, but that's going to be for this part 2 of the stream when we get down to St. Martin, and we're going to be doing some maximum crosswind testing. And I'm going to be literally just trying to see how lateral control, directional control on the runway is in a heavy crosswind. And then I might put that back, and I might put something back on my rudders. But right now, we got to go with all default. We got a fresh start on our baseline here. Taxiing the airplane though, fantastic. Tiller is working fantastic. Breakaway thrust is awesome. Good stuff. Javier, good to see you. I haven't been able to join the previous streams. How is the new Fenix update? Good enough for pilots with 737 type rating and an A330? Javier, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me, my friend. Welcome. Glad to have you on board, man. Yeah, the engine sounds definitely a little bit more beefy, a little bit more bass. Do I think it flies better than the fly-by-wire than Alpha V2? I haven't flown it around enough yet. I know it flies way better than it did on V1, and especially on approach. On approach phase, I haven't told you, like the auto thrust was not really doing what real Airbus auto thrust things would do on approach. But now it does, and at least it did when we flew into New Zealand, and we're going to see it again here today. We're really going to max it out. So I think the last METAR was 20 knots. Let's take a look. Let's see what the current Vegas weather is here. Hope it doesn't go down. Oh, 030 at 1.8, so no more gusts, but we still have a pretty steady, pretty stiff 18 knots, 030, quartering tailwind on departure. So not even the best wind setup for this runway, but we're going to do it anyway. For you to be a real pilot, how much realistic is the Fenix? I would say it's very realistic. But then again, what makes my sim very realistic may not be what you have on your sim. Like, do you have the same side stick that I have? Do you have the same tiller that I have? Do you have the same thrust lever setup that I have? The airplane itself, of course, it's very realistic. And I think what you're starting to see for the first time in desktop simulation, which it's actually kind of cool, but I think we're finally starting to see now where the simulation is getting to a point where it flies so much like the real thing that if you don't have realistic hardware to match it, you're not going to get the full experience, or it may not even fly that good for you. For instance, let's just, I have a Satek, what was the original yoke? Like the Satek yoke. You guys remember that? Like real plasticky? Back when that yoke was new, flying airplanes around on FSX, FS9, 2002. Well, maybe not. Maybe I don't even know if it was around for 2002. I think I had a CH yoke for that. It didn't really matter because flight models and like the systems in the sim, it weren't that, the capability wasn't there. But now we have the capability in these desktop sims that is so far or so much greater than what it used to be. If you don't have hardware to match it, like for another example, the PMDG 737 flies really well. In my opinion, I've not type rated on the 737, full disclosure. I've never flown a 737. But when I fly the 737 PMDG with the TCA Boeing yoke, it is a different experience than if I were to fly the PMDG 737 with, let's just say, a side stick. Like I had an X52 joystick. I had a Logitech Sidewinder. The airplanes are getting so in depth, And the flight models are getting so detailed that if you are lacking in hardware, you're actually starting to feel it on the other end, in my opinion. I think that's what's happening. So let's go ahead and fire it up. There's no traffic. We know we're not on VATSIM or anything like that, so let's go ahead and just get the lights on. Let's get out of here. Also, just wanted to say that every time I look back at the screen for a moment, I think I'm seeing a real-life view. Steven, yeah, it is. It's truly magical. Like, this, I mean, it really is. All right, so I'm actually going to try to line up properly here. So, because we are heavy, this is the, again, I'm trying to recreating a departure I did about a month ago. Where it was, I remember flying out, we were on the SID. I'm like, man, we are really heavy. And it is really hot. Oh, look at that lineup. Wow, I like how the nose, okay, so that's new. I don't know if you caught that, probably not. You might have been able to see it in if you were watching my hand. So that's the first time I felt that, and I think I saw this in a changelog. I think they're trying their best to get inertia going, trying to get inertia modeled, because it really, in Microsoft and as a platform, like, inertia has always kind of been missing. But right there, the airplane was coming over to the right, and I let go of the tiller, and the airplane was still coming to the right as that nose wheel was coming back to center when I let go of my tiller. That was a very realistic feeling of, oh, okay, we still got to have some, we got some inertia here, we got to straighten her out. So that was pretty neat. That was pretty neat. All right, let me take a sip of coffee here. Let's get out of here. Any reason why you don't use head tracker? Madgun, because I stream. I find it hard to watch when I watch people with Track IR. That's why I don't use it. Before streaming, I used it on every single flight. Track IR is phenomenal. But I personally find it hard to watch other people's eyes moving around, so that's why I don't use it when streaming. All right, auto brakes max, takeoff config checked. We're going to go perf data page, flight plan page over here. All right, Team Vodka made it back. Good to see you, man. Just in time, we're about to blast off. All right, here we go. So, again, we are simulating a heavy gross weight takeoff, 162.4. Slightly overweight, don't tell anybody. And we got to try to comply with these restrictions on the SID. Temperature is 32 C. Winds are quartering tailwind at 30 knots, or 30 knots, 18 knots. Brakes released. Hold on to your butts. It's going to get wild. Nose forward on the stick. Spool them up 50. Yoga. Still smooth that transition is too, from engine view to cockpit view. Frames are good. Okay, so with that crosswind, full forward on the stick now. Full forward on the stick. I feel the airplane's trying to fight me a little bit. I'm trying to maintain a center line. 80 knots thrust set. All right, now we're going to start working out that forward pressure as we get to 100 knots here. Much more effective. There you go. I see the airplanes fighting me. That's very realistic. So I have to make rudder inputs. It's a long takeoff roll. V1. Rotate. Nice and easy on the rotation. Positive rate. Look at the airplane lurch into the wind. Very good. Nav. Come up to the flight directors. Now this is an automation test, so we're going to get the autopilot on very quickly here. I would love to hand fly, but we're going automation testing on this part of the stream. So autopilot is on. Let's get a quick window. Oh yeah, outside view, watch your ears. Gotta love it. All right, positive trend. Thrust climb, climb. Might have to do a recalibration on my throttles. There's F speed. Let's go flaps 1. So, I don't know if you watched the other stream, when we had a much more of a headwind component, the airplane kind of jumped into the sky. This one, it almost felt a little bit more laggy, and then after we got airborne, it started to weather vane right into the wind. Now the winds are shifting to that realistic wind going behind us to the left, of course. But at least I can tell you this. They have worked on something, because the first takeoff we did, completely different than this takeoff we did. Here comes S-speed. Let's go flap 0. So I'm monitoring how the autopilot handles this SID. This is a full autopilot test here. Matter of fact, we'll go full screen cam. Disarm those. Do you use any different side stick sensitivity? No, right now, Jedi, we are completely linear across the board, which is how I've been flying it, honestly. I haven't changed anything there. The only thing I did change is my rudder now. Yep, Indigo, that's not FT Sim. All right, so we're right at green dot, 230 knots. At or above 5. We're doing good here. VA Beach Pilot, your videos help fuel the fire. Hey, that's awesome stuff. PC-12. I think we're supposed to be getting a PC-12 here in the sim very soon, but that's awesome. Glad you're enjoying the content. Welcome to the stream. Sounds in cockpit more realistic now on takeoff or before? I think they're very realistic. I don't, I think they're actually a little bit toned down. These are more CFM-y. The real comparison is going to be when we get the IE engines. This definitely sounds more CFM-y than the previous version. So I would say that it is very realistic. All right, we're climbing 10,000. Let's throw a wrench in the plan here. Let's go a lolly. Let's go hold, computed hold, right turns, insert. Now fly it. Automatically coming back to 230 knots for hold. Although we should be green dot, I guess we're at 10,000. Yeah, we can do 230. Speed alt star. I never turned the wind shear, predictive wind shear off. Rudder feels a bit more sensitive now. MG King, we're going to get into, that's going to be when we start doing some real hardcore crosswind testing. All right, did a pretty good job here. We're going to level into the turn. We're in the hold, 2,000 or 10,000 feet, 230 knots. Very good. All right, I'm going to accelerate to 250, and then we're going to do some basic flight control checks. It says set hold speed. That is correct because I just went over here and undid it, but that's normal. It's working properly. It's good to know. We're speed out cruise. We're cruise mode. We're at 10,000 feet now, holding over a lolly. Now what I do want to do, yeah, we'll let it hold here. So let's do some, wow, look at that shot. Do you practice stalls in the real plane? No, we only do it in the sim. How long have you been back online? Notification didn't come through. Jet Kid, no, I started 45 minutes ago. You haven't missed out. We're just getting started, though. We're just getting started. We're doing some RNAV testing. We're doing this part of the stream is for the autopilot. The display font seems to be more accurate. Renan, it definitely is. They tweaked it. The display font is almost dead on. Almost dead on, for real. All right. If you're a member of the channel, oh my goodness. I was going to say if you're a member of the channel. If you're not a member of the channel by now, good golly, you got to be a member. Team Vodka dropping. If you're new to the V1 Nation, this is Team Vodka. He's a madman. 50 memberships to the channel. Team Vodka. Very, very kind. I take it your training went well today. Thank you so much, Team Vodka. I appreciate you. Massive support. Jungly Sim was in the background, ghost watching. He got a membership. Jungly, good to see you. But Team Vodka, that is a massive membership gift to the channel. That is very kind. Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure to have Team Vodka, our resident vodka expert here on the channel. Good stuff, man. Very, very kind of you. Thank you for that. Honestly, thank you. Diego says, in terms of flight model, how much difference between the 320 with sharklets and without sharklets. In real life, Diego, the difference is very small, but you do notice it most of the time when you screw up, and that's when you float a landing or you smash a landing, because maybe you've been flying a sharklet all day and then you go to a CEO and it just doesn't have the same amount of float or the same amount of ground effect that a sharklet aircraft does, or the opposite, right? You're flying CEOs all day, you're flaring a little bit earlier, a little bit quicker, and then you get in a sharklet NEO, or a sharklet maybe with a NEO as well, and then you go to flare and you just kind of get a little bit of extra cushion. You're like, now you're floating down a little bit. So the difference is subtle, but it is definitely there. Definitely there. I got a bowl of carbonara, and we need to get enough subs for the 50K tour. Oh, jeez. Team Vac, I appreciate you, man. Very, very kind. Enjoy the carbonara. It sounds delicious. I had some Walmart sushi. Or no, not Walmart. I had some Publix sushi for lunch. So far so good. All right. Airplane is doing a great hold. What we're going to do now, let's go ahead and recap real quick. Basic fly-by-wire characteristic, and then I'm going to demonstrate it, and then we're going to do real quick and dirty clean stall, and then we're going to set up for a Cat 3 with the autopilot and see how she does, and then we're going to pop an engine. So just to recap, fly-by-wire on the 320 aircraft, there are several different zones. You have 0 to 33 degrees angle of bank. Within that 0 to 33 degrees angle of bank, you have what is commonly referred to as bank angle hold. Now, while it's not necessarily a true bank angle hold, that is an easy way to say it, easy way to remember it. So if I roll the side stick in 10 degrees, 15 degrees, 20 degrees, and let go, the airplane will maintain that bank angle. After I get 33 degrees angle of bank and I go up to 67 degrees angle of bank, the airplane, if I go up to 40 degrees angle of bank and I let go of the side stick, the airplane is going to roll back to 33 degrees angle of bank and then maintain 33 degrees. I cannot roll it past 67 degrees angle of bank in normal law. All right? So that is a quick recap of what's going to happen. Now let's go ahead and turn the autopilot off. I'm going to go ahead and turn the flight directors off. And I'm going to give myself the bird. All right. I'm going to go ahead and roll out. Let's just roll it out right here. Where's our heading? Let's just make it 060. All right, 060. And we're going to do this not so much outside view. We're going to kind of lock it in here. So let's get the tiller. Let's get the Airbus side stick cam on. Let's go ahead and let's just demonstrate what I just said. Okay, so I'm going to just roll in. It's coming to the right. I'm going to let go. What is that, 10 degrees-ish? There we go. It's holding it. Now you'll see, oh, why is the altitude descending? Shouldn't you have altitude hold? No, it's not an altitude hold in pitch. It is a G hold. So when I let go of the side stick, wherever the pitch is, it's going to maintain that pitch at 1G. So if I just ever so slightly lower the nose a little bit and let go, it's going to maintain 1G at a slight descent. If I ever so slightly pitch up and let go, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to ever so slightly maintain 1G at this pitch attitude. So it's not an altitude hold. It's more of a pitch or AOA. No, it's not even that. It's straight up a G load, a G hold. Okay, so at 10,000 feet, let's go in a little bit steeper banks. Let's roll in. Now as we get past 33 degrees angle of bank, we're going to have to add a little bit of back pressure. You see the thrust is going to come in. When the thrust comes in, what's going to happen? It's also going to want to pitch up, so I got to compensate a little bit. Trying to get right back to 10,000 feet. Remember, when it thrusts up, because of the under wing mounted engines, the airplane's going to want to pitch up. So you have to compensate a little bit. This is also part of why the steep turn maneuver, they want you to go to 45 degrees angle of bank, so you can demonstrate the knowledge of everything that's happening to your airplane. When those engines are spinning up, what's going to happen? If the auto thrust is a little too aggressive and it has to despool, come to idle, maybe you got a little fast, what's going to happen? The airplane's going to want to pitch down, so you have to compensate for that. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to let go. So now look, it's going to roll out about 33 degrees angle of bank, and then it's going to stop. Very good. All right, and this is nothing new. The V1 had this as well. We're just recapping. We're covering our bases. We're trying to see, if there were any tweaks or any changes to just some normal handling characteristics. From what I can tell, it's pretty darn good. So, that was easy enough. Let's see if we can initiate a normal law stall. So I'm going to just maintain 10,000 feet here. I'm going to bring the power to idle. Power's going to come to idle. I did this a little out of order. I'm going to go autopilot 1. Flight director's on. Bird off. 10,000. Let's just go vertical speed 0. All right, so right now I have the autopilot on in heading mode, vertical speed 0. We are going to attempt to stall this 320 in normal law. Power's at idle, we're not paying attention. A couple things are going to happen here once we hit our VLS. V alpha prot. Basically, we're going to recover at the first sign of a stall, which, in theory, if this is modeled correctly, we should get an autopilot disconnect here at some point. Or... actually, it might be an alpha floor. Let's see what happens. Boom, there it goes. Autopilot off. That's the first sign of a stall. What if I pitch back on the stick again? Alpha floor has been triggered. It says, hey, you're at your max AOA, you're a normal law. Look at my engines. It's like, hey, you're not going to stall me. We're a normal law. Alpha floor, and now I can hold full aft stick. I'm full aft stick. The airplane's not going to stall. Now remember, when I say not going to stall, this is all in theory. This is theoretical. Any good pilot should remember or should know that a stall can happen even in normal law. But here you get to see it. It's going to hold its maximum angle of attack. So it's going to get you all the way to that nth degree of AOA where it knows it can't go any further. And you see how it's maintaining pitch there? It's actually lowering the pitch. And we could climb out like this all day long until we run out of gas. Or worse. Okay, so let's go ahead and recover. Let's lower the nose. We'll see how the stall recovery feels. Now it says thrust levers move. So we're going to get it out of... Alright, there we're out of VLS. I'm rapidly accelerating. Let's go ahead. Wow, that's modeled. Okay, hold on. Look at my G-load meter down here. This is true to real life. So that's to help aid you in a recovery. You get that G-load. So I'm going to pitch down here. And then I'm going to pull back. Look at that G-load. That's true to real life. You want to keep it under 2G. Alright. Very good. Basic stuff here. I knew the Fenix would be handling it just fine. Can I do a max bank angle? Yeah, let's do a max bank angle real quick. Let me get my flight director off. So this is all stuff that's not necessarily new on V2, but again, with all the changes that have happened to this airplane, I think it's important that we put it through its paces, make sure the basics are still there, make sure everything is still functioning as intended. And so far, it's doing a great job. So let's see if we can get a past 67 degrees angle of bank. So I'm going to roll. Right to the green whiskers, and oh, no sir. No, you won't. And it kicks me back to 33. Now, this is something that's interesting. I don't believe this might be a Microsoft thing, or this is a knowledge thing. Someone in chat may know. I'd have to look this up. If you reach 67 degrees angle of bank, I believe it just locks you in there. I don't believe it kicks you back. So again, if I roll in, let's go all the way to 67 degrees, which is right at the green whisker mark. So it's kicks me back to 45. That's actually a systems question that I need to double check on. So why is vertical speed flashing? Oh, just because I had the modes we were in when we were doing that stall. So that's why it was modeled as like a vertical speed. Just letting me know that we were getting into a low energy. Bit close to the mountains for these tests, I know. But overall, as expected and anticipated from Fenix, normal law flight characteristics work. Now, if you like this kind of stuff, there's going to be a lot more of this coming when I get ready for my real-world check ride prep, which is going to be happening here at the end of the month. So let's get back to what we wanted to do here on this stream. We're going to get our automation built back up. I should have go outside in. So whenever you're rebuilding your automation, let me do it. That was so terrible. I'm gonna do this properly. Whenever you rebuild automation in the Airbus, you should build from the outsides in. So flight directors, okay, autopilot, auto thrust, Read your FMA. Speed FPA track. I don't want any of that. So I want to go back here. I want to go 10,000 feet. Now we're thrust idle, open descent heading. There we go. That looks much, much better. All right, let's go ahead and set ourselves up direct to TIA, or TIA, excuse me, direct to TIA. Now we're thrust idle, open descent nav, down to 10,000 feet, 250 knots. Autopilot is back on. We've tested it to its basic limits. Everything seems fine. I thought the airplane will say speed, speed, speed before reaching alpha floor. I believe that's an alternate law command, Jeremy. Is that an alternate law? Well, now I'm curious. I got it. All right. Jeremy always got to be making me curious about things. Flight director's off. That's coming off. Yeah. The airplane's going to freak out here for a minute. All right. Basically what we are, we're alternate law now. Let's see, Jeremy. I'm curious. There's your stall, stall, alternate law. Stall, stall. That was a little too aggressive. Let me see. Let me see if we get a speed, speed command here in alternate law, Jeremy. I don't think so. Oh! There's our stall, stall. So we've lost the audio. Oh. Okay, this is a good unusual attitude recover. Recover.
Stall, stall.
Uh-oh. 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 Daggone it, Jeremy. Jeremy? Well, that was a rough one, folks. So, that was an interesting alternate law stall. Didn't get any recovery out of it. First crash on stream. Probably, yep, I think so. Blame Jeremy on that one. Goodness. I think that was a butter. What do you guys think? I think that was a butter. I think that's like a 150. Okay, that's all right. We're good. We good. We all right. We all right. Let's go ahead and do. Let's reset. Nothing to see here. We'll reset on the runway. Flaps. So you know what it is, Jeremy? It's the flaps. We need to have our flaps extended. Is that normal? Probably not. No. Yeah, Jeremy says flaps have to be expanded config 2 or more for a speed call out. Definitely 250-hour pilot move. That's all right. We were going to get right back into automation anyway, so let's go ahead and do it. We'll go right back to the runway. We'll be set as departure. We're good. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. 737NG driver said you were a fake pilot. Well, there you go. That's about as fake as you can get right there. There wasn't a stall because we weren't in the landing configuration, or not even landing configuration. We didn't have the flaps in position 2 or greater. So now what's interesting is we didn't get a stall there because I think we already triggered the stall, and maybe it's like we got a stall after, but I had the stall on the PFD and everything, and then it just rolled over, and that was that. That was that. So I think that was my old backyard. I think we found the limits. All right, so don't alternate law try to deep stall roll this thing. That's all right. We're fine. Here, watch how fast we can reprogram. Let's let the airplane do its thing here. We're going to come back to life. We're all right. We're gonna take off. We're going to do a Cat 3 landing now, though. It's all good. It's all good. I told Amir I would break his airplane today. I didn't mean literally. It's all good. Let's go ahead and let's remove the chocks. Let's make sure the brakes are set. Brakes are set. Let's do a quick weight and balance. I want to be a little overweight, so let's go full packs. Let's go about 4 tons, and let's go. I want 160,000 pounds. 160.6. That's close enough. We'll go ahead. Load instant. Done. Dismiss. That's good. Let's come down here. Let's do a quick initialization. We'll do Las Vegas. Las Vegas. Why was that not recoverable? Microsoft is why. At least in my opinion. I had nothing. I had nothing on the recovery. Nothing on the side stick. I even reached for the THS there a little bit. Nothing. I think that might have just been the limits. We might have just found the actual limit of the airplane. 26 right, Gidget 2, that's fine. We're not going to do the whole departure. Verkin, insert, secondary, a knit. This is where it gets to get important here. We're going to go Las Vegas, Las Vegas, because we're going to use this secondary. Las Vegas, Las Vegas. I'll just put in some random numbers here. We'll just do 5,000 again. We'll just put our same call sign in here like so. Secondary. Don't forget 26 left. Well, that's the point. So that's why I want to do this. So departure though, hold on. 26 right. We got to get our single engine. 26 right departure. Secondary. I want to go Las Vegas. 260 at let's call it 9 miles. Boom. And then I want to take PBD 01. And then I want to take it 035 off of that for 9 more miles. Right there. And then I want to go direct to Las Vegas. VOR right there, right there. That looks good enough for me. Oop, gotta let it load in. Actually, let me see. Was it 035? It was, yeah, 035. All right, cool. That looked like one of my first sims with the keyboard and mouse. All right, Las Vegas 26 left. Well, we're gonna go secondary, 26 left arrival, no star, approach via Perino in the secondary. Done. Okay, cool. Now on the flight plan, we're also gonna do 26 left. So this is gonna be an overweight, no star approach via Cat 3 approach here. We'll take this one out via Perino as well. Done, done. Let's go progress page, Las Vegas. Blame Jeremy's in chat. I don't know what our speeds are going to be, but we'll be fine. We'll just do 150, 155, and 160. That's high, but we'll do it. Flap 2, boom, and no flex. Lights on. Seatbelt sign, definitely on. Hey, seat 2A. Where's seat 2A with the seatbelt sign? Oh, and I also had the alert box muted, and I missed a super chat there from Aviator Nick. Shall we get maintenance on standby when we land at Phoenix, or should it be a write-off? I think we'll be fine. I think it'll buff out. It'll buff out. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. 3,200 feet, acceleration out, engine out. All right, cool. We're all set up in the box. We're overweight. Let's go ahead and do a quick METAR check. 290901. What is the winds doing here? Because I may have to manually adjust these winds now if they're starting to not behave. They were really gusty earlier. 030 at 18. I'll tell you what. Let's leave it live. That's 18 knot quartering tailwind is pretty good. All right, everything else is good. We're ready to go. We'll do a takeoff config check. Auto brakes max. We'll do you. Oh yeah, flaps. That'd probably be beneficial. Flaps 2. All right, cool. That's why we do takeoff config checks. Above TARA, and try it again. Okay, it's getting in position. Oh, it's because the that's as well. So we'll do a forward. Boom. All right, here we go. We're back. Who's ready? I'm ready. You're ready. Let's go. Are the chocks on? No, chocks are off. Let's go. It is but the scratch. Man, Toga SRS runway, auto thrust blue. This will be another good. This is good quartering tailwind. All right, so yeah, my rudders, I'm doing that on purpose. They are sensitive. But I don't feel like it's a bad sensitivity. Maybe I have to put just a little bit of a null zone in there back. I did have 10%. I'm down to 3%. There's 80 knots. We'll start blending it out. Can we try the maneuver again? On the check right prep stream, we will. See how it's fighting me? I like that. I mean, it's actually trying to fly into the wind. So, all right. Let's get her controlled now. To get better control, just stare at the far end of the runway. See how those oscillations will almost stop. V1. Rotate. Up we go. Nice and smooth. Weather vanes into the wind. Woohoo, yeah. 22 knots there. 22 knots. All right, we're still doing autopilot checking, so let's keep the autopilot on. This is all autopilot portion of the stream. We stalled badly, and we died, yeah. Tactical flip-flops doing their job. They sure are. Oh, because I didn't have a top altitude. Thrust climb nav, flaps 1. Constraint mode on. Alright, so this is where it's going to get fun. We're going to do an auto land on this one. So, let's answer this message. We'll go McDo, Atsu. Let's get this off the screen. Cool. Alright. Actually, this is yeah, look how close we are here to these mountains. This is what I was talking about the other day when we took off. I was like, wow, we're actually pretty close to the terrain here. There's S-speed, flaps 0. Why is making a turn to a dead engine a bad idea? More so has to do with props, Jeremy. It has to do with the moment arm and the torque. But you can easily... Basically what can happen is you can roll to a point where it's not recoverable. If it makes sense. Like you can roll, if you roll into a dead engine, and if the way the props are spinning, the up and down, that one good engine that is operating, now you have a longer moment arm from the engine that is operating to the engine that is not operating, and in the same direction of the roll. And you could theoretically carry that roll up and over, and then basically the VMC roll it into the ground. We'll have to, if we got a prop stream or a whiteboard, I could kind of show it out for you a little bit better. But all right, we're gonna level at 7 quick. Let's see how it does. See that? I spawned it in quick. Speed alt star comes back. Nice job there on the automation level off. Nice job there on the automation level off. That was good. That happens sometimes when they say, hey, Bourbon 357 if able, maintain 7,000, and they're like 6,800 feet. If you're quick enough, you can get it on time. It will do it. Sometimes it will actually. I've seen the real airplane do a worse job than that just did. So that's props to props to Fenix on that one. I got it right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set this up. We're going to go heading 080. And that's going to set us up for the downwind for the Cat 3 background. I'm also going to select speed 250k knots. We're going to come down here. We're going to activate the approach phase. Winds and temps, so it's 29 or 9 or 1. Temperature was 32, and winds were 0. What were they? 030 at 18 or something? Close enough. We're going to go no DH in the barrel. This is for Cat 3 auto land. We're also going to clean up the box. We're going to go direct to our final approach fix of Preno, if I can find it. Preno and 079. Insert. Pull heading. All right, so we've got a nice clean line. We're set up for the ILS. I'm tired of looking at midday. What do you say we spice it up here and run this down to a little bit of a sunset here in the desert, just to give us some more juice out here. All right, Sunset Vegas, Cat 3 auto land testing at an overweight landing to a go around. Another Fenix update? Oh no. What did they update? Let me look. Let's take a look. We'll have to do another stream. Dashboard on the website. 5 hours later, let's see, changelog. Fixed high CPU usage temp bug affecting some users. Okay, that's good. That's not me. But for those that were having CPU usage, looks like they found an answer to that bug. On the app, changed UI to alternative renderer. Added logic to select iGPU if one exists. So this is kind of similar to what they had before, where like if you had a GPU that had, or if you had a CPU or an iGPU, you could use that. Inhibited Fenix auto launch after installation. And then in big bold letters, please restart PC after updating. I also highly recommend a clean installation if you've been facing problems with performance. All right, fingers crossed. We haven't had any of those issues, so I don't see a need to go ahead and update right now. But if you are facing those issues, good on Fenix. They got a fix for you right now. All right, we're at 7,000 feet. We're going to go out past Larry. Actually, we can come in a little bit sooner. Let's go ahead and set 6. Let's do open descent. Let's turn our, is our dome light on? Oh, wow. Look at that sunset. Nothing like sunsets in the desert. Crashed and rage quit. Changelog is on their website. Yeah, uninstall V1 before installing V2. PFD is more bright. It is brighter when you go max bright. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it down a little bit because we moved it to sunset now. All right, we're speed alt star. Let's see how this handles here. We do set her up for an auto land. Let's come back to 210 knots. We'll get our LS push buttons on. No DHs on the glass. RNAV approach. Can you? Yeah, we've already done one on the earlier stream today. We might do one in St. Martin because there's some RNAVs there. All right, now this is going to be a autopilot auto land test. Let's fly heading 090. Let's step it down to 5,000 so we can cut in even sooner. Thrust idle open descent. Oh no, why is HP smart? What the hell is this? Almost just, what is HP smart? Why is it trying to change my whole screen here? Go away. I had this thing auto land me today into Canberra with clouds 1,000 feet. It did an incredible job. 150 feet per minute. Wow. V1, good to see you, Hawks. You pretty happy with the update? Absolutely, Hawks. Very, very happy. Uninstall it. Crap. I don't even have a printer on this computer. That is strange. Alright. 120 on the heading. 130. Speed alt star. Gross weight is 159. Our max landing weight is 145. So we are going to be overweight for sure. We say there's some type of issue where we have to come back and land, and we've depicted that landing overweight is the best thing to do. Now will it let me run numbers for overweight? Ooh, it's got a 10 knot tailwind. Let's do auto land, medium brakes, max reverse. All right, 10 knot tailwind, 12 knot crosswind, max weight. These are very sub-optimal conditions, and in some, we're actually overextending the limits here. We're close. Captain, I just received a message. Yes, it has released. There is a new version. But it's for those that have been suffering with some other issues, which I haven't been suffering with, so I will definitely get it on the next stream. But on this one, I think we're good. I'm going to come to 200 knots here, right below S speed. Loke Star, look at this. Already done this is Airbus Smart Capture technology at work here. Did an early capture, Doing a good job. We got swirly winds here in Vegas today. Roberto, long time no see. We were just talking about you at the beginning of the stream, Roberto. Well, not you specifically, but been talking about hardware and how we finally think that simulators are getting to the point where if you don't have good hardware, you're not going to enjoy the software that's being released because it's becoming so advanced. But Roberto from Throttletek is in the chat himself, guys. He's the show behind the Throttletek throttle you see here. He's behind the show for the Boeing thrust levers, throttle levers you've seen on the channel. Good to see you, Roberto. Hope you're doing well, man. All right, we're flaps 2. Right now we're going to do an overweight auto land attempt. And this is on the, now we're going to pop an engine. So we're going to pop an engine on the go around. What I'm going to do, instead of triggering a failure in the box and having to work through the ECAM, because this is about seeing how the automation handles. All I'm going to do is in the go around, I'm going to shut down an engine with a master switch. All right, so I'm going to do a master switch shutdown. Basically simulates just a rollback right after you go around. So we'll still get an ECAM, but it's better than trying to trigger an ECAM and then go through the ECAM actions while flying. But I want to really watch the autopilot behavior on this. Roberto says, sorry for being away from these places, but always working for you guys. No worries, Roberto. Welcome to the stream, man. I'm glad you joined now and not 5 minutes ago, because we actually crashed. Turbulence for me is unrealistic. Yeah, I know Fenix suggests that you should put it on medium or low. I personally have never had an issue with turbulence, so I'm leaving it realistic until it becomes an issue. All right, we're flaps 2, 180. Let's pay attention now. I'm going to get my internal lights on. Oh, the lighting looks so good in this updated FCU fonts here. All right, so we're 180. We're flaps 2. We'll even set up medium auto brakes because we would have that on an auto land. We're glide slope star. Go around altitude. We'll keep it at 5,000 is fine. And I'm going to configure super early because I want to see how the airplane behaves with the auto thrust. So here we go. We're going to configure way early, get it all nice and draggy. Because on approach, the auto thrust was probably my #1 gripe of V1 in the end stages of the V1 life cycle for the Fenix. It was the auto thrust became very unpredictable and almost jittery. So we're going to test that out here. We're going to get it all dragged up nice and dirty. It's hot. It's 30 C. It's gusty. We got a tailwind and a crosswind. We're going to see how the airplane behaves. Miggs, welcome to the stream. Good afternoon. How are you doing, Miggs? Welcome on board. Can the Airbus Autoland flaps free? Yes, it can. You're going to see that here momentarily. KW Airlines, what's your question? Watch the emoji span there. Look at that, auto thrust doing a great job. You guys see a difference in our N1s? Up here at the density altitude is significantly higher than it was down there in New Zealand. Plus it doesn't help our VAP speed is 147, so we've got some ground speed mini situation going on here. Auto thrust is doing a great job. Now I chose this runway specifically because the glide slope is misaligned, so we're going to intentionally send it in a go around. Let's arm the spoilers. Go to the website KW Airlines and you'll get an update. ADO, I just joined and subbed. Just came across your content. Looking forward to more. ATO, well, welcome to the channel. Glad to have you on board. I need to look at glide slope mini. Phoenix is in the house. Phoenix says they're not happy with ground speed mini. It's trending back, but we're also in a very funky wind situation because we just had a left crosswind, now we got a tailwind. This is more realistic here. Winds are reportedly 030 at 18. But since we're just monitoring the instruments, I'm going to get the camera view off so we can monitor both screens here. Well, I'm super happy about the thrust. We're going to keep working it down. We're going to get ready to execute a go-around here.
500.
See how the glide slope's misaligned? It'll put you into the dirt. Like, hey, something's not right here. Let's go around. All right, go around flaps. Go around flaps. We're on flaps 3. Positive rate. Gear up. Engine failure. Oh my gosh. All right, fly the airplane. Mantoga SRS nav. I got a pull heading now. We got a pull heading, and we got to activate secondary. Activate secondary. Manage nav. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to fly it and select it because technically we still have to. So we're thrust Toga SRS heading. Get ready for push to level off. Push the level off. Oh, I missed it. All right, vertical speed 0. All right, here comes F speed. Flaps 1, that's going to help with our cleanup. We need to go 2.9 from Las Vegas, so at 2.9 we start the right turn. So we're 1.4. Engine failure, engine 2 shutdown, engine mode selector ignition. Yeah, engine 2 shutdown, imbalance monitor, TA. All right, so we'll clear that out. We'll put that in the TA only just so we can clear the ECAM off here. And we would disarm the spoilers.
1,000.
We're level 3,200 feet. We're going to make a right turn 035. Right about now. Right turn 035. Look at how we're just... This is low level here, guys. We gotta remember our Toga limit. But I'm gonna keep it in Toga right now just because of the juice that we need here. We already passed our green dot speed, so let's go ahead and... Nope, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. I don't think it's not going to accelerate. So 183 249. It's not going to accelerate. So we'll go up. She goes. Open climb. MCT thrust. So we're overweight. She doesn't have enough juice to climb. We're modifying our procedures here so we can actually. I'm actually surprised that the autopilot's doing what it's doing. It's actually doing a pretty decent job. All right, 035 until 13 miles, and then we're going to come back on a heading of 100. 5,900 feet. I'm modifying. This is not a real world engine out procedure, full disclosure. I'm modifying to get her to climb. MCT is max continuous thrust. The temps is also, we're 158,000 pounds, so we were overweight to begin with, and it's 34C outside. So I'm modifying the procedures here to see if I can get any climb rate out of her. And it doesn't seem like it's happening. Well, we're going to keep going. Uh-oh. Push the level off. Vertical speed 0. We're flying away from terrain. I need to get it to accelerate so we can get these slats in. Drop me off at the stratosphere. I mean, what a shot of Las Vegas, huh? So that's why we're on this single engine. So if you guys remember the departure we did with 2 engines, we went much closer to terrain. This one keeps you clear of terrain, and it keeps you clear of terrain and clear of the strip. Kind of puts you in between both of them. All right? Now, this is where it's going to be problematic because we're still losing speed in level flight. This would be an oh crap moment for sure. We're like, hey, we're level, we cannot accelerate. Theoretically, what we could try to do here is, I'll tell you what. Let me see. What has she got here in the Toga? Oh no, don't do that. Oh no, 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 don't do that. Ooh, vertical speed 0. We just practiced our stalls too. Alright, now we gotta do, we're still on this heading. What was, Las Vegas? 7.8. A little further. Military thrust. Dump fuel. Alright, so what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try, we're going to do this for science. I'm going to disengage and I'm going to pitch down here. We're going to keep her in Toga. I'm going to pitch down to get her sped up here a little bit. This is for science. Come on, baby. This is why you need IE engines. I just want to see. I just want to see if we can get this airplane cleaned up here. What will she do with cleaned up? Alright, here comes S-speed. Flap 0. There you go. Come on, baby. You can do it, Phoenix. I have faith in you. Ooh, with the autopilot off, we definitely need to get some rudder trim in there. Easy. Easy does it. There we go. There we go. Autopilot 1. Open climb. On speed. Green dot selected. Open climb. Come on. You can do it. We need to turn right. This is not going to help our situation. We have to get away from the terrain. So this is what is our distance now? It is 13.3. Yep. So we're in the turn to 100. See how it's the single engine is keeping us completely clear of the terrain as possible, or as clear as it possibly can. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and get the APU started. We can unload the pack if we get the APU fired up. Yeah, so now, but see the difference? So now with it cleaned up, getting to green dot, getting to accelerated green dot speed, I think we actually would have been okay. It's just at that, being that overweight and these higher temperatures, I could not get it to accelerate to clean up. I'll have to rewatch that, see if I could have done anything different. Now let's come back to a more realistic thing here, because we got to go, oops, MCT, thrust MCT. And then we would take number 2 engine, that's going to come to idle. Number 2 is at idle, we'll clear that. Engine reverse set. Nope. A little too far. Alright, so there we go. With thrust lever idle. She's climbing now. See, Phoenix Sim? Have faith. You just got to get it. You got to force it into green dot. It's almost like when you were doing twin engine or single engine training in Piper Seminoles with Blue Line. You'd have to pitch down. You have to pitch down to get to your single engine climb out speed. Look at this. It's actually doing a great job. All right, so let's go all the way up to 5,900 per the SID, or per the EO SID. All right, now we would go direct to Las Vegas VOR, but I'm going to keep on this heading because we're going to further stress it out. And we're going to try to fly the approach single engine like this. But we're also going to unload the pack. So APU bleed is coming on. We're going to unload the pack. Might help us out there a little bit too. All right. We're cleaning up. Acceleration. Let's go ahead and start building up the approach. So, oh, this is cool too. See EO right here? Engine out. Just like the real airplane. Cool deal. All right, let's go perf. Let's activate approach phase. What was the 2991? We'll reset that. Oops, wrong button. 2991. So let's say we're coming back down with a single engine We're fail passive. 030, come on, 030 at 18 was the last reported wind. Temperature was 33. So with that, with a fail passive Cat 3, we have to put 50 foot here in the radio page. So 50 foot is set for our DH. Everything else is back on. VMCA recovery. Yeah, V2 plus 10. You know what? It's as funny and as kind of like, you know, as much fun as we're having on stream here with it. That's a very valid thing to bring up, because I know there's guys in chat that are going through training and you do your single engine training and light pistons. And I remember specifically the Piper Seminoles. We always used to say that you only have a second engine because it's going to get you to the crash site faster. The single engine climb performance on a Piper Seminole is almost nil. And there are times if you lost an engine on departure, you have to pitch down towards the ground to get able to speed up so you can climb out. And sometimes to hold that single engine climb out speed, you wouldn't even have enough. You wouldn't have any performance to climb. You would just be on a constant descent into the ground. So, all right, we're set up here. I'm going to redirect us. Preno insert. We're set up for the ILS again. Now she's really going to be unhappy. So APU has picked up the load. Cool, that's good. Clear APU status. Cat 3 dual center tank pump 1, engine 2 bleed gen 2. All right, we're not going to go to the comm. We have to do an emergency landing. Let's just land this airplane. So we're going to land. We're overweight. We're going to attempt to land. And I'm going to hand fly the approach once we get at the final approach fix. So let's go ahead and arm the approach push button. AP2 is armed. We're glide slope low. Cat 3 single now, even though both autopilots are engaged. We're Cat 3 single. This is part of our limitation now. We're single engine. So that's why we have 50 foot here in our radio minimums, because we are a fail passive approach now. All right, we're going to go ahead and also slow down and configure. Finally, that engine gets to breathe a little bit. Let's go ahead and extend flaps 1. Now, this drives home the point of being careful when you configure, especially single engine, because as you configure, you guys just saw, if you have to go around, you may not be able to climb. So now that we got flaps 1, you got to be thinking well ahead of the airplane here, because if you have to go around, it's not pretty, as we saw. All right, glide slope blue, low blue. We're turning inbound. I'm going to maintain 210 knots right now at slats 1. Oh, wow, look at that. Over the lake. That's a thing of beauty. This is a phenomenal scenario and excellent talk through. Hey, Ato, glad you're enjoying it, man. 660 watching. Yeah, smash down that like button for Fenix Sim. Fenix Sim been rolling through the streams today. They've been doing a lot of work. I mean, they're hard at work. It's obvious. Even got a second patch out already, so, or a first patch to the patch. A little floodlight juice. There we go. All right, clear status because the slats came out. All right, we are set up. We are set up for a single engine landing with overweight and a quartering tailwind. What could go wrong? Let me get flight recorder on. So I'm going to land this, hopefully. And then we're going to start getting into our normal, dual control, Crosswind, St. Martin stream. All right, let's go ahead and manage the speed. Configuring a little bit later. Oh, also, flap 3 for sure on this one. Landing flap 3 selected. Perf data, config 3, VAP 151. Glide slope star, go around altitude. Doesn't matter what we set because we're probably not going to get there. We'll set 6,000. Gear down. Throttletek cam's coming on. What's wrong with the barrel? Barrel is perfectly fine. Tune on 85. Why do you guys keep saying Barrow? Tune on 85. We will survive. Oh! No. 50 foot in the radio. Oh. Oh. Alright, alright, alright. Crisis averted. I don't think it's gonna hurt us, but let's go ahead and go flaps 2. I was wondering what you guys were saying. Alright, inside of Reeland we'll hand fly. There's VFE next, flaps 3. That's our landing configuration for this approach. Flaps 3, single engine, overweight, 156, 145, we're about 10,000 over. I wouldn't say this is a totally not plausible approach. If you took off, you're 10,000 pounds overweight, pop an engine, be like, hey, we're on fire, we might be on fire, we're landing this airplane, I don't care that we're overweight. So, this is a very plausible scenario. Gear is down, 3 green, flaps 3, autopilot is off. We're doing a hand-flown single engine approach here with some swirly winds. So I'm going to leave the auto thrust on. And what was our VRAF again? Our VAP was 151. We're right at 160. So we've got about 10 knots of ground speed mini right now. Now, we also know that the glide slope will run us into the ground. So once we get down to about 1,000 feet, I'll probably go flight director off, and we'll go bird mode and just visually land the airplane. Aviator Nick, thank you for gifting the 10 more memberships. Very, very kind, Aviator Nick. Glad you're enjoying the streams. Glad you're enjoying the content, Aviator Nick. Very kind. How did the autopilot handle on the on engine out? Phoenix Sim, it actually did a good job. Now, I purposely overloaded us. We had a hard time accelerating to green dot. I had to force it down. But once we got it down there, it handled just fine. But Aviator Nick, thanks again. Appreciate the membership dono to the chat. And now I got to pause the alert box here on final without crashing. There we go. Okay, so you can see the glide slope's going to run away from us here at the scenery. We're going to go bird mode on. We're visual. I'm going to get back on the pappies. Look at that. Look at that. See how it yawed over? That's very true to real life because the airplane's thrusting up. You get that adverse yaw. That's why in the sim, I actually fly the airplane with manual thrust on the single engine approach on my recurrent training because I like knowing when that big thrust change is coming in there. I like doing it myself. Alright, so we know the pappies and glide slope are all misaligned here. 20 knot quartering tailwind, single engine. What could go wrong?
Minimum 30, 20, retard.
Are we down?
5.
Oh my gosh, we weren't down? Let's go around. Go around flaps. I thought we were down. This is going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to happen, chat. I don't think it's going to happen. We got no juice. We got no juice. More trim. We got no juice. We got no juice. We can't do a single engine go around. We got no juice. Rip. Poor CFMs. Alright. Nothing to see here. We got no juice. Let's see. Oh, you kidding me? I didn't even have the replay on. I didn't have it recording. Ah. I didn't have the replay recording on that one. I thought we were down. I was like, oh my gosh, what a butter. And then it goes 5. I'm like, oh, shoot. Now, in real life, we probably would have just rode it out. But, all right. So, I think we've found the limits to this little CFM. 10,000 pounds overweight. You're not going around. All right? You're not going around 10,000 pounds overweight. It's just not happening. Let's, oh, excuse me. Hey. Hello. Don't mind me. I never get this parking spot. Look, perfect. Parallel parking. What did we learn today, kids? Well, we learned that this is why you don't go around when you're 10,000 pounds overweight. This is why you have to be extremely careful when you do a single engine missed approach procedure. Got to be careful of that cleanup speed as well. So, eye-opening performance. I understood coming into this that we were going to be really extremely testing the limits, because if we were all within limits, if we were like 140,000 pounds, 135,000 pounds, the airplane would have done just fine. But what fun is that when we can find where the actual structural limits are? So, definitely the QNH's fault. Okay, so now that the fun part is done, let's go ahead and get into some more meat and potatoes stuff. We're going to reset in St. Martin. We did this a long time ago on the V1 version of the Fenix, where we do our actual crosswind limit testing and control config. So as far as the automation part, airplane, 10 for 10 on automation handling. It flew just fine, turning into the dead engine. It flew the SIDS. It flew the approaches. It flew the single engine approach, captured the glide, got us all stabilized. Not an issue as far as the automation is concerned. Now, definitely seems like there's a skill issue on the pilot side of things, but we're going to work on that right now. So let's set it up to our favorite crosswind limit testing facility at Princess Juliana. We're going to set her up right here on runway 10, set as departure. We're going to go custom, I tell you what, let's just load in live weather and then we'll adjust it from there. XP72, good to see you, man. Welcome to the stream. Better call maintenance control just to be sure. We might have to call maintenance on that one. How many times are we going to die today? Well, we're two for two right now, Vladimir. The first one. Okay, that first one when we entered that deep stall and became unrecoverable, that one was a true shocker. That go around, I had a very strong feeling that we were going to be toasted. You going around, it's 35C outside. We have a tailwind of 15 knots, and we're 10,000 pounds overweight. I had a strong feeling that we were not going to be able to successfully execute that go-around, but why not? I mean, what fun is it in just stopping on the runway? It's much more fun to go into the dirt. All right, the first one was survivable. All right, this is where we are going to do our actual controller config test. So let's get all our lights on. Let's reel it in. And let's give ourselves a quick little flight plan here. We're just going to go TNCM right back to TNCM. We're just doing traffic pattern work, but I want to initialize the box. It doesn't matter what the numbers are here. I'll just do this. We'll do this. All right, cool deal. That's good. All right, flight plan, departure. Runway 28, right? Nope. Runway, oh my gosh. Runway 10, insert St. Martin arrival. I'm just going to put a centerline fix in there, runway 10, that's all we need. No star, insert. All right, so we got a centerline fix for runway 10. Constraints, magic barrel ref key. Matter of fact, we're not even going to do magic barrel ref. Now we're going to set the weather. So, would you put her down in real life, single ops? Even if, oh yeah, Aviator Nick. In that scenario, if that was a real world scenario that you just witnessed, if we were single engine, overweight, landing, the briefing on approach would have been, hey, we're 10,000 pounds overweight. We got a 10-knot tailwind. We should be landing on the other runway to begin with. But let's just, for some reason, let's just say we were in that position. We're on final. Say, hey, there is no go-around on this. That is a real thing you have to think about, and that is a real briefing item. There is no go-around. So whether you float it or you put it down early in the dirt, you are going to end, you're going to be done on the ground. So that's why typically there's no flare on those landings, real world and in the real world sim. You just powered idle, let the airplane hit the runway, and stop it on the pavement, because that's all you're trying to do, because there is no go-around, as you just saw. So... and I think that's a good refresher for me, because, you know, sometimes you think, oh, Airbus, we got all the power in the world, we'd be able to do anything. You know, a little overweight here. Not necessarily. You could very easily put yourself in a scenario that's unrecoverable. So, all right, METAR, we're going to turn live weather off. And 2992, that's fine. What I want to do here is add a wind layer at the ground level. What's this one? Variable at 2, gusting 2. Let's delete that one. Let's bring this one down here. All right, so direct crosswind. We're going to do a direct crosswind from the left. So we're going to make the winds from 360 at a speed of 1.8 with a gust from 360 at 0. No gust. So basically we're just trying to go steady state wind, straight crosswind. All right, so that is done. And so our winds are in, and we're going to take off. Doesn't matter what, we're going to bug 250 or not even. We'll just bug like 210 knots. All right, now why aren't my wind socks moving? Let's just make sure the wind is correct here. Where's my wind layer? What happened? 360 at 10 knots. Why won't it let me modify? 360. Speed. 1.8. Gusting speed. 0. Wind graph. Okay, so there we go. There we go. Wind socks are out. Good. Wind socks are out. That's 20 knot crossing from the right. Let's go. Flaps, we'll go flaps 1. That's good. We'll go, we need to take the chocks off. That's the only thing we need to do. Oh, and we need to set our gross weight. We're going to do it right about moderate landing weight. We'll do 140,000 pounds. We'll do 138. We'll go ground services. Get rid of the chocks and cones. Weight and balance, though. We'll reset the parking brake, because we only have to do this one time, hopefully. We'll go full passengers. Gross weight 140,000 pounds. That seems pretty fair. Instantaneous loading, 128.3 and 30.0. All right. It's going to yell at us for V speeds. I'm going to make them up. All right, let's give it a test. Brakes released. Here we go. Oh, let's get our Throttletek cam on so you can see what's happening. Let's go. All right, so Russell, now we're tasting normal operations, everyday operations, crosswind landing, handling characteristics. Everything in my sim is linear as far as controls go, and I'm going to see how that handles here with crosswinds. And then we will find the limit for the crosswind of the Fenix 320. We will find the limit. All right, up we go. Look at it! Look at a weather vane into the wind. Positive rate, gear up. That was cool. All right, out to the right. Let's get our flight directors off. I don't need any. I don't need auto thrust. Set 2000. 2000. Yeah, we're not. This is just. It's gonna be our crosswind testing. We're not doing anything else. We don't care about climbs or anything else. Heading track mode is on. Keep it around 180. Let's activate and confirm the approach phase. 29er, 9er 2. 360 at 18. It was like 20. Brett Smith, take it easy, man. Thanks for hanging out with us today. "25 knots up here, winds aloft." I'll put a reference barrel of 500. And then I'm going to go copy active. Alright. Recorder is ready. That growl is awesome, isn't it? The sounds are really good. I really like what they've done with the sounds. I say we switch both engines off. Aviator Nick, that's awesome. Says, "This is why I love watching your streams, V1. I've started watching your streams from the very start of the channel." Aviator Nick, that's very kind, man. Appreciate you. I'm glad you enjoy this stuff. These are fun ones. You know, we got to mix it up. We can't always just fly A to B. We can't always just break things. This is for science. 18 knot direct crosswind, 140,000 pound visual test, 2 engines. Hopefully there's no more dying now. Migs or Allie, Sammy. Hopefully there's no more dying on this one. Let's go ahead and land this puppy. So let's go flaps 2, speed checks, flaps 2. Start a little 3-degree descent path. What is our V app? Is going to be 138. Next stream will be out of Queenstown. Yes, it will, Throttle. You will. So you can see ground speed mini again, right up there at 160 knots. Puller of spikes. In real life, if an alarm comes on due to something a crew overlooked, do they get to have a chat with chief pilot? Most likely. That is most likely going to happen, Puller of spikes. Thank you for that massive $20 super chat. I appreciate you. Depending on the nature of the alarm, you're going to be talking to somebody, whether it's a chief pilot or
1,000.
a mechanic at the very least. But Polar Spikes, again, that's very kind of you. Thank you for that $20 super chat, my friend. All right, we are flaps full, config full, replay is on. Visual approach now. 23 knots direct crosswind here. 23 knots direct crosswind. I'm not going for landing rates. I'm not going for anything. I'm just going to try to land this as if it were a real 320 with linear curves on my hardware. So let's see how she does here. 20 knots steady, direct cross right now. Looking good. Correcting a little bit low. But it's St. Martin. You got to come in a little bit low over the fence line. Yeah, there we go. 3 reds is pretty much standard here at St. Martin.
100. 50. 40.
Let's go ahead.
30,
Decrab.
20. Retard. 5.
So that there's a pitch up moment for sure when the reverser deploys. That seemed a little aggressive. Let's let it roll out. But overall, that seemed very good. 70 knots. I don't think that was a float sim at all, Jake. I think we were right on the markers. Let's take a look at that replay. Let's take a look at that replay indeed. So we'll stop that recording. I was 20 knots, and as far as lateral control, felt very good. My only suspect is, I feel like when I went into reverse, we had an extra pitch up, which that is a thing. Spoilers deploy. There is another pitch up moment, and that's where you have to be careful of tail strike in a go around. Almost seemed a little bit, almost seemed a little exaggerated, but we'll take a look at it. We will take a look at it. Then we get to Steven's super chat. Shout out to Fenix team for improving an already great product, and shout out to V1 for taking not one but two for the team today. Hey, Steven, I appreciate the support, man. Thank you so much. Glad you're enjoying the streams, my friend. All right, let's see how we did on that approach. Let me reset the spoilers. So there they go. Oh, 100% legal. I think we were right in the paint on that one too. I think that was a really good landing. I was happy about it. I don't even think the landing rate is playing, so I'm going to turn it off. Right, Fly Live isn't even existing right now. So let's just go ahead and get Fly Live off. When decrabbing, do you use rudder last second, or then stop it, or use rudder then stop it last second? What do you use rudder? You decrab when you're about to flare.
500.
Maybe we could have a. I have my aircraft model. We could talk about decrabbing and what that does. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Remind me again, Swales, if I don't remember here, because I have my little airplane model. I can get into a little mini decrab lesson, aerodynamics. All right. So as far as the approach was concerned, airplane felt very stable. Let's see how we did here. Now again, I'm just trying to fly this real. I'm not trying for butters. I'm just trying to say, hey, how would I land this airplane in real life with a crosswind of 20 knots? Power comes out. Decrab right on the paint. Could have actually decrabbed a little bit more. You see that right there? You see that second pitch? That was interesting. So watch this. We're going to try this again. It might have just been user error, but let's try it again. So resume. So it definitely... Hold on, let's back it up. Spoilers. Right there. That wasn't me. I was trying to fly the nose down. Nose comes down. Overall, though, pretty decent on the centerline control. Pretty decent on the centerline control. Let's up the ante, though. I think that one could have been a combination of, not the best pilot performance and decent Fenix performance, but overall, safe landing. Would take that any day of the week. It was before the reverser deployed. Well, the reverser is kind of hard to time, I think, with the, with replay. I have to set it in reverse prior to touchdown. But we're going to look at it again here, Team Vodka. So let's go ahead and we're going to end that one. So that recording is done. I'm going to go ahead and select flaps 1. And let's go ahead and turn the airplane around. We're just going to take off opposite direction. Isn't St. Martin Captain only landing? Not for us. Maybe for certain airlines. That could, Captain only, stuff like that. That's very operator specific. Now I wonder if this is gonna. Oh yeah, it's just gonna initialize weights. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and just end it. Let's restart. Because I don't want to have any. Let's do clean every time. This one we're gonna up it. We're gonna go straight to 28 knots. So we're gonna add 10 knots to what we just did. I thought the nose down had no, Will. No, it does not have to be. It's a common misconception. Uh-oh. This has happened to me before. When, like the Fenix app. There we go. It takes a second. Has to find itself. Let it come to life. Winds 360. Oh, 3,060. Only Chuck Norris can fly that heading. 360. Wind speed this time, 28 knots. Gusting from 360 at 0 knots. So I don't want any gusts on this one. All right, I want no gust factor. 28 knots. Oh, I just messed it up. Oh, hell, let's do 30 knots. This is going to get spicy. Well, I think 30 knots was the breaking point last time, so let's do 28. I want to do 28 even. 28 knots. Why isn't my windsock going out? Why don't I have a, why does it do that? Why is it so hard to get wind on this thing? There we go, there it's working. Alright, there's our wind graph. Wind speed, 35 gusts a minute from the west. Alright. Because it's not X-plane, says AJ. Alright, we're good. All I care about is weights. I don't care about anything in the box. We'll just hand fly it. Let's do weights on this one. So this is going to be a big one. This is 30 knots of wind, direct crosswind. We're going to go weight and balance. Same thing, same weight. What were we? 140,000? 140,000 pounds. We'll load instantly. 128.8 and 30.9. Done. Flight plan and knit real quick. This is what makes X-plane easier for repetitive scenarios, for sure. Arrival 10 with the centerline fix. Done. All right. That's there. That's there. Barrel ref is on. Brakes released. Let's go ahead and turn off chocks, cones, GPU. A little bit more sunset action on here. Not nighttime. Ooh, that would be scary. All right, let's go. Yoga. Seatbelt sign is off. Godspeed, friends. Takeoff speed is not inserted. Ooh, yeah, 30 knots. Let's get that nose down. I almost feel like when I have forward... Let me see. I don't know. It feels better. 100 knots. We're neutral. Positive rate. Don't let that wing drop. Ooh. Ooh, it does pitch up there. See, that's not me. A little bit spicy on that. A little bit spicy. Oh my. Why is it 51 knots? 51 knots? Okay, we have to adjust that. It's at 50 knots. That's why. We cannot have a 50 knot crosswind. That's not what I was trying to test here. We'll leave the flaps where they are. Why are we at 60 knots now? I want 0 gust.
Wind shear, wind shear, wind shear.
Oh, jeez. That was pretty cool. Auto thrust is off. I mean, we're not landing with a 60 knot crosswind. You're going to alternate. I want to know why we're 60 knot winds here. 48 knots. Max demonstrated 38 knots. Oh my gosh, look at the ocean. Is there multiple wind layers? Let's take a look. There's this one. I'm just going to delete layer, add wind layer. Apparently 30 knots in Microsoft is 42 knots. So let's do 22. What does that do to the sim? All right, 22 brings it down to 34. That's at least something I've seen before. All right, 33 knots. We're going to roll with that. 33 knot crosswind. If I go here, 299er, what is the barrel? Hit the magic barrel ref, 299er1. Wind's 360. At 30. All right. We're going to give ourselves a long final. So if we can do this one right, maybe we just do one test here, because it's kind of annoying to have to adjust the winds every time. Coming to idle. We got a 30 knot direct crosswind. Everything is linear. See how we do. Let's see how we do. Maybe I need multiple wind layers. Aaron. Yeah, that's not the standard operating procedure for a wind shear. That's not your memory items. Oh, that's cool. Trust me, wind shears are definitely sketch. A couple things I don't like while flying. Wind shears is definitely one of them. All right, manage it up. Flaps 2. Flaps 3. Wow, this is going to be one hell of a crab. Alright, we're flaps 3. We should land flaps 3 on this one, but we're going to go flaps full. I have landed in 30 knots of crosswind at flaps full. We're flaps full, a little bit slow. Let's see what kind of crab angles we got coming out of this one here. Everything is zeroed out. The only thing I'm thinking about adjusting is maybe putting a little bit more of a null zone on the rudder pedals. Just because I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that real quick. Do config, controls, rudder. I'm going to put it 8%. So before it was at 10, I dropped it to 3. Let me see if I get, yeah, that seems better. Now look, you should see the roll coupling there with the rudder. That's part of the changelog. That's pretty good. All right, easy now, easy now, easy now. Let's get on speed. We got to actually try to land now. This crosswind landing test. If you guys remember in V1, this 30 knot crosswind was pretty much undoable or non-doable. You couldn't do it. I self-imposed a crosswind on the Fenix V1 at like 20 knots. That was like the limit, close to the limit in sim world, because it became uncontrollable after touchdown. This will be a new test here, and if we can successfully complete it, then I think we can say she's good to go. Let's just hold 30 knots direct crosswind right now. Again, let's come in a little bit low because the same arm. Try to do everything the same. Let's get the replay going.
$500.
All right. Oh yeah, spoiler's not on. My bad. Thank you, Airbus. All right, so it's tapered off. 23 knots. 24 knots. Still direct. Carrying a little extra speed with me here. Start working it out. I want to see. I'm going to really try to get a better Decrab on this one.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
Oh, that was a butter if I've ever seen one. Yeah, there's a weird pitch up after touchdown, I'm noticing. Weird pitch up after. I have to push the nose forward. But look at that directional control. That is game-changingly different than the V1. Literally game-changing difference. Zero control issues at all. Let's spin it around, and we're going to up the winds even more. And we'll do one more. It was only 16 to 18 on the ground level. Is that why? All right, well, let's bump it up even more. We don't even need to watch the replay on that one, or do we? Ooh, we're too fast for the tiller. Microsoft still stutters on the ground when you turn. That's cool. Lost a lot of wind at the end there. Why is that a thing? So it's 16 knots on the ground? Alright. I'm gonna save that replay till the end. We'll save that one. So that we'll call that 16 knot. Alright, let's try it again then. Let's try one more. So if that's 16 knots, why is it 19 knots? What the heck? Alright. 30. Done. Let's go. Okay, question. On the pitching up, are you adding back stick to try and catch the nose from falling at any point? Just want to see if it happens if you let the nose... Phoenix Sim, maybe? I will try this on the next one. I will not even touch... I'll just let the mains touch, and then I won't even touch the side stick. I think I might be instinctively just adding a little bit for keep the nose from falling. But I will check. I will check on this one. Here we go. Toga thrust. Brakes off. Let's go. We're going to do a 360 out there. Come back, land on the same runway. I don't know. I mean, if I was, it might have been... It might be just like instinctively trying to keep the nose from falling down. So it's going to weather vane to the right. Look at that. Crosswind takeoffs are well improved for sure. Let's come out to the left though and make a 360 around. I'm going to try this one. So on this landing, I'm going to do crosswind, decrab, everything the same. And then I'm just not even, if the nose crashes, we'll let the nose crash. I'll let the mains come down and I'm just going to let go. Sometimes what I think I'm doing is instinctively, like in the real airplane in a strong crosswind, I want to keep that nose up a little bit longer so I can kind of get I can really manipulate the lateral direction of the airplane before the nose wheel comes down, if that makes any sense. So I might just be instinctively doing that. I'm going to try not to do it at this time at all. Because I'm definitely feeling some type of pitch up, almost like 2. Like the touchdown, I don't know if it's the spoilers deploying or what. Let's try it again here. Let's try one more. We got more wind this time. So the winds are 50 knots now, but they're 50 knots aloft. So hopefully when we land, they won't be. So let's go ahead and we're going to do it. It's 40 aloft now, so it's going to be even greater than the last one. No, it's not the same wind, T-Vodka. I upped it on the ground. That's 25 knots now. All right, we're gonna spin her all the way around. We're flaps 2. When I get down to about 1,000 feet, we'll do a wind check assessment. Yeah, it is, I guess Microsoft has its own wind gradient. That's what's going on, you know. It's creating like its own gradient, which I mean is true. And winds are gonna taper off for the most part, but for sim purposes, you know, it makes it a lot easier if you just say, "Hey, this altitude, I want these winds." Period. We don't want to get too low. Let's level off right about here, 1,400 feet. We're flaps 2, gear down, 160. All right, so same technique on the landing. No touch of the side stick on touchdown. Not even gonna touch it. Sensitive dead zone, neutral, reactivity dead zone, everything. Oh, you're not talking to me, Allie. Yep. I will say though, rudder, what did I put on that? 6%, 8%, whatever I put on that rudder null zone for my MFGs, that seemed to be pretty juicy. We're low, we're dragging it in for sure. 1,200 feet, flaps 3, gear down. Company loves us. We're all watching the stick cam. I know, there's no hiding it. You tell me if I touch it. I'll try to just go hands off. I'm gonna say the Fenix house livery, pretty dang sweet. It's clean. I like the Fenix sim on the window right there, or on the cell. All right, same thing. Bringing in a little low. 3 reds to 4 reds for cinematic purposes. Replay is replaying now.
1,000.
1,000 feet stable. We got 32 knots of winds at 1,000 feet here, Team Vodka, so I think we're good. Let's see how much it tapers off, but 30 knots at 1,000 feet, 800 feet still, 30 knots. Rolling it in on final. Little power. Look how far that flight path vector is on the
500.
PFD. Look at that. That's awesome. All right, we're 26 knots. Let me know if it tapers off. I can't watch the wind the whole time. I'm just going to try to do this landing and not touch the side stick. All right, there's our 3 reds.
$100. 50. 40. 30.
Decrab.
20. Retard. 5.
Not touching. So yeah, see, I feel that felt so weird. So maybe it is me touching a side stick. What were the winds on touchdown? I'll slow down and stop it. We're going to juice up the winds one more time. Like, if I just let go, no pitch up for sure. So I'm fighting, so that is me adding pitch up. And that was the same 16 knots cross on touchdown. So that's actually a good test then, because that is the exact same crosswind that we had on the last one when we had the pitch up issue. Decrab felt pretty good. I would have expected... I would have expected to be drifting off. Well, it was only 16 knots. Honestly, it felt pretty decent. I really can't complain on how that felt. While we have a second here, let's spin it around. I'm going to bump the winds up one last time. We'll try. I want to try to get at least a 30 knotter. But the nose solution is definitely when I touch the back pressure. AJ Funari, thank you for the $5 super chat. My friend says at this approach altitude, you're going to end up blowing a bunch of sand into Austin Myers Virgin Pina Colada. Oh, AJ. You're going to get me in trouble with that too, man. Yes, indeed. Hey, a Pina Colada sounds pretty good right about now. I'm not going to lie. Out here on St. Martin. All right. Thanks, AJ, for the $5 super chat. We'll be in X-Plane soon enough, AJ. I know you're waiting for it. It'll happen, my friend. All right, here we go. I'm going to set 37. How's that? I'm going to set, screw it. Let's set 37.1. Done. Wind should be set then, right? Come back, double check. Wind layer, 32.3. So good. So it's holding 32 knots on touchdown. All right? Even with back pressure, it shouldn't pitch up so aggressively, right? Correct. So let me see if I can show you something. Let me get my handy dandy 319 tool out here. Three-dimensional Decrab. All right. How do I want to display this? Maybe this way? This way. Hold on. Maybe this won't work. I need a whiteboard. Daggone it. Where's Carl Rove when you need him? Okay, so here we go. Quick Decrab lesson. You're coming down. Let's say you're don't mind the throttles in the background. You're on approach like this, okay? You're crabbing. The runway is actually like this. So you want to land in this position here. But you're coming down on approach, what we call crabbed into the wind. And actually, the way that we've been flying, we've been crabbing this direction because of the direction of the crosswind coming from the left. All right. Now, when you decrab an airplane, what does that mean? Decrab, all it means is that you want to make sure that when the wheels touch down, your longitudinal axis of the aircraft matches that of the runway and the wheels. Because if you land like this, that's what we call a side-loaded landing. And then this main, so in this case, the right main on this 319, would be getting a greater impact. And if you side-load it enough, there is a potential for a gear to collapse. Now, pretty rare. You'd have to have a pretty severe side load on an Airbus, but you start looking at GA aircraft. Happens quite often, even some corporate jets. All right, so that is the whole purpose of decrabbing, is to make sure there is no side load, G load on the airframe on touchdown. Now, a couple things happen when you decrab an airplane. To initiate a decrab, we initiate with rudder. All right, so as I push right rudder to decrab this aircraft, what is happening to the aircraft's left wing? This left wing is accelerating. As this left wing accelerates, what does that happen to its component of lift? It actually increases. The right wing on this aircraft, as I decrab, decelerates from the relative wind because the wind is coming this direction towards the camera, right? So if I decrab like this, I am increasing lift on the left wing and I am actually decreasing lift on the right wing. So with that comes another issue where if you are decrabbed too early, the wind is going to start to do this, right? It's going to start to push you off. So this is where the timing of the decrab and the flare come into play. This is where you get your skill issues from, okay? So you want to decrab, be longitudinally correct, and you want to be able to touch down properly. Now, what happens when you accelerate that wing? It's going to want to roll up on you, right? It's going to, if you accelerate the lift on the left wing, it's going to want to roll. If it wants to roll, this wing gets picked up, and that wind is coming up underneath that wing. It's going to push you off the center line even faster, all right? So in real life, when you decrab, a lot of things happen very rapidly. Rudder to the right, decrab, left aileron to keep this wing down, not only to keep it down and getting blown up and over to the right, it's to keep your lateral position on the center line. Because if I were to just decrab and only put enough aileron to go directly wings level, if there was enough wind, I would still drift from the center line. So that is why, in theory, the theoretical perfect crosswind landing at a strong enough crosswind is a Decrab and an upwind main touchdown first. So you would actually go left main touchdown, right main nose gear, depending on the strength of the wind. If the wind isn't that strong, you just have a little bit of a Decrab, wings neutral at the right time will be just enough where you flare and put it onto the pavement, you're not going to get blown off the center line. But when you start landing an Airbus 38 knots, 40 knots, the most I've ever seen is like 44 to 47 knots of wind, direct crosswind. And I'm telling you, when that puppy Decrab, it was almost an instantaneously wing up and push over. So it was so much lateral control that I was intentionally lining the aircraft up left of center line because I knew as soon as I decrabbed at 44 knots direct crosswind, this puppy's going to roll to the right. It's going to want to push to the right. So that's where you have to really be thinking about all the different things and aerodynamics that are happening when you decrab. It's not just as simple as put the rudder in and land. It's put the rudder in, adjust your roll, your aileron, your lateral control to keep the aircraft position centered, and try to keep that left wing down to keep you from getting the additional blowover factor. Okay, I just made that a blowover factor. That's an interesting term. So there's a lot. What I want you to try to get out of this, there's a lot going on here on the Decrab. So hopefully that maybe answers some of your questions. Maybe it makes it a little bit more clear. All right. Let me tactical flip-flop needs to be resecured, and we're going to do one more. I'm going to do one more crosswind landing here. I never thought of it as the wing is accelerating. That is so helpful in understanding what causes a wing bank. Makes so much sense. Yes, Aaron, that is what a lot of people may forget or may not realize is the decrab maneuver. You're not just decrabbing. You are accelerating, and then conversely, you are decelerating the downwind wing. So you are, the essence of a decrab is the worst thing you can do in terms of trying to get your performance, right? Because you're accelerating this wing, which you don't want it to accelerate. You don't want the right wing to dip, but you're decelerating it, so it's naturally going to dip. So you have all those factors coming into play, and you're trying to do this all instantaneously while still flaring the airplane and not smashing it into the pavement. So that's your quick Decrab review. Mohammed, thank you for the 14-month support. Hi, V1. What are your impressions with the Fenix 320 V2? Hey, Mohammed, I'm absolutely loving it, man. We're in the middle of troubleshooting some crosswind stuff here. I wouldn't say troubleshooting, but we're just testing it. And so far, so good. I need to get the wind to be strong. So I'm going to set 45 knots there. All right, 45 knots is set. Let's see what happens on touchdown. Let me come back here. I got to do this again one more time. Last time, TNCM, init 129 or 128.9 and 30.9, something like that. There we go. We're a little bit off. Probably need a little bit more gas, but we're fine. Highest crosswind, like I said, 44. I think it was like 44. It was gusting to 47 direct cross. I think steady state coming over the threshold, it was 44 knots when we landed on a classic 320. And I'm telling you, it was, we didn't have to go around, but it was quick. It was a quick decrab and touchdown. Here we go. JTF Mud says, and sadly, the drift seems to happen very late, 5 to 6 seconds. It does, well, we're going to see. I'll hold that thought. I'm going to see what this does here with this type of wind condition. Here we go. Last one, takeoff speed's not inserted. We're fine. We'll survive. Ooh, look at that. I'm getting a lot of left rudder in there now. I wish I had a rudder cam. That was a lot of left rudder to get her straight, but I like how as I'm accelerating, I can really feel the rudder gain authority. Like now, it's very easy to maintain center line. And that was pretty good. And with 32 knots direct, 32, that's perfect. Positive rate, gear up. So while we're in the climb out here, I got to do a center line fix one more time. TNCM 10. Done. Donezies. All right. Out to the left. Perfect. We got 32 knots, direct crosswind. It's 63 knots at 1,000 feet, which is really, I'm trying to remember that day that we landed in Dallas at 47 knots. It was, I want to say it was about 60 knots coming through 1,000 feet. I think that's about right, actually. So that's not entirely inaccurate. V1, Laura hasn't entered the chat yet. She can't, AJ, but she literally just texted me. I'm not even kidding you, dude. Look. I don't know if you can see. She literally just texted me as that message came across the screen. She's probably like, where are you? Babe, we're doing this for science, okay? This is for science. I don't have time. Oh, we're supposed to bake muffins tonight. All right, I got to land this and I got to go. It's 7:30. Good grief. All right, yeah, 7:30. Supposed to bake muffins with the girls. This is the last crosswind test. 32 knots. I'm going to, so we know when you pitch back, you screw yourself, apparently. So I'm going to try to really be careful. I'm not just going to go hands off, but I'm going to try to not let the nose slam. Can you use low wing crosswind method in a jet? You can. It's not wildly taught, and it's not the preferred maneuver, preferred technique, I should say. And a lot of that can come on basically based on what type of jet you're trying to do that to. All right, because you have to start looking at some other factors when you start doing the wing low approach. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying on the Airbus, it's not a common technique at all. Like we don't do it. We crab. Even on the Embraers, we crabbed. Citations, I crabbed. Every jet that I've flown has always been crabbing, but I'm not saying you can't do it. It's just not the preferred technique. There's going to be, you have to think about relative wind for your engines and all that, compressor stalls. That all becomes a little bit more of an issue depending on the severity. So. It's all in the name of science. The Muffin Man. Alright, I need to save that replay too. That was nose drop. I'm going to call that the nose drop replay. And then we're going to record this one. This is going to be the last one. Caleb, with the null zone I made to the McDo. Huh. You know what? You bring up an interesting point, Caleb. Let me go McDo maintenance. Oh no, McDo config controls. What was it? Like 3? Let's do 2. Let's do a 2% null zone. Look at those waves down there. Goodness. Do I think it feels good? I think the Fenix feels good. I really have nothing to complain about with it. We're feeling too sensitive, other than like you saw there that pitch up, which we're kind of looking into right now. But as far as normal A to B flying and the autopilot seems to be way smoother in all aspects on the stars and on the SIDS. So overall, I really think it's a good update. The only thing that I've noticed is what we're looking at right now is that pitch up on touchdown. We're gonna try this one here. We'll see how it works out. Did I already have the gear down? I did. We just cycled the gear. Pro pilot move. Well, back in my 787 simulator, I cycled the gear for professionalism.
1,000.
Alright. Now I lost my flight path vector. Nice! Look at that. Look how far it is. Look how far my flight path vector is. This is wild. Flaps full. Spoilers are armed. 60 knots right now. Jeremy, don't worry about it, man. Technically, our no crash streak, it wasn't, we weren't on a normal flight. I don't know if this is going to be possible. Why are we have 60 knots of crosswind right now? Look at the runway is behind the A pillar. I guess that's not the A pillar.
500.
This is giving me flashbacks landing at DFW, 47 knots. This is about right. This is about right there. There we go. Inside of that pillar. I've seen that before. Oh yeah, this is spicy though. This is a spicy meatball. 50 knots right now. Direct crosswind. 48, 49, 50. If we don't crash this one, I think maybe Fenix can send me a 319 for my
100.
birthday. All right, here we go. Coming in.
50,
Here we go. Decrabbing.
30, 20, retard.
Oh gosh. That was rough. I want another shot at that. I want another shot. Go around, go around, go around, go around. Man, Toga SRS, go around track. That wasn't a good effort. That wasn't a good pilot effort. Go around flaps, positive rate. Gear up. That wasn't a good pilot effort. I want another shot at that one. Eee, there's your speed call out, Jeremy. Oh jeez, get that nose down.
Speed.
Let's help her out. Let's turn into the wind on this one. No 319 for that effort. I know. Just shot myself in the foot. I want another shot at that. The winds are set up perfectly. What were the winds there over the threshold? Did you guys see it? The threshold winds? No, the muffins. I know. Muffins are going to have to wait, honey. I'm sorry. It was for science. I want another shot at that. We would have been fine, but I wanted to... That wasn't a good attempt. Ain't 320 greater than muffins? Thanks for the support, Fonzie. 38 across the threshold, 32 at touchdown. Thanks, AJ. Okay, so we've got proper wind set up. This is what we got. We want one more attempt at it. I don't think it was all that hard of a landing, but I honestly think I was impressed at how much control I had that I kind of just gave up. So let me try again. I was expecting wonkiness, and I don't know. It was poor pilot effort. We're going to try again. Last one. Smash down the like button for one extra approach here. My little girls are wondering where Daddy is to make muffins. I'm doing this for science. We're flaps 1. Let's reactivate the situation here. 29er, 9er 1. Winds are 360 at 38. Going around after reversers, yeah, not recommended. But this is for science, okay, Philip? This is for science. Where do you guys stand on Fenix versus Tolas at the moment? Honestly, I'm gonna have to get in the Tolas and give it a whirl. I'm gonna have to give it a whirl. Because this is so new, this whole V2, like, I'm still adjusting to everything that's been changed here. But the frames, I gotta say, the two things that stand out the most to me: frame improvement has been phenomenal, and the autopilot smoothness. And it was smooth before, but like sometimes it would do wonky stuff on a descent, on an arrival, especially late level offs. It would kind of confuse it. So frames, autopilot, smoothness, and then crosswind takeoffs have felt very good. The crosswind takeoff feeling has been very, very good. Like when you have that, we took off out of Auckland, had a nice headwind, jumped into the air, just like the real airplane. Out of Vegas there earlier on the stream, quartering tailwind, you could almost feel the struts decompress as you lift off the runway. So crosswind takeoff behavior, just takeoff behavior in general, greatly improved. This is going to be an interesting turn here. We got 65 knots on the tail. Chris Strobel, exclamation point tiller.
Speed.
Oh, look at that. We're losing the wind in the turn. That's scary.
Speed.
Yeah. Speed. Check speed. Speed check. Wow. Speed check. I don't think the promo is still running on Cat 3 design on the tiller. There was a promo code V1. I don't know if it's still running. You could try. This is a human factors case study if I've ever seen one. Look at that flight path vector. It's gone. 65 knots. I love it. I love flying, man. Flying is so fun. Like, what sane person would enjoy this? This reminds me of one time in a 170 going into LaGuardia, we broke out IMC on the ILS, and I'm like, where's the runway? F was like, it's over there, dude. And it was opposite Crosswind, but it was like out my window. Like, oh my gosh. That was another big one. That was like a 30 knotter direct in LaGuardia. And we couldn't land the other way because it was shut down. Alright, here we go. Spoilers arm, flaps full. Better effort on this one. Better effort on this one. I can't see my runway, man. There it is. I'm not using the gear lever, unfortunately. I wish I was offered the gear lever when I first partnered with Cat 3 Design, and I said no. And I regret it every day since.
500. Minimum.
All right, stable as can be. Here we go. All right, so because of that wind, I'm going to do my same technique. We're going to come in a little left to center line here. A little fast, correcting.
$100. 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 5.
Oh yeah, see, I hit the backs. I hit the little. See, now what's weird is it should be weather vating hard left, but it's not. I will take that one though. Look at that. I mean, you could not land the Fenix in a 30-knot wind on V1. Look how stable that is. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they can mess with that aft stick. Maybe I should go back to that 3% null zone. I don't even want to, though. I think I can live with that. Having that directional control there. 37 threshold, 32 on the tarmac. I'll take it, man. Look at the waves. look at this. Look at that wave over there. It's like tsunamis happening at St. Martin. Oh my gosh. All right. We have to get out of here. I have to get out of here. I think that was fun. I'm going to load up this last replay. We'll watch one more. 20-foot waves, no problem. I think this was the one where I slammed the nose down. I didn't have the recording on that last one, guys. Don't shoot me. But we know it was buttery. We know it was juicy.
500.
I'm out of here. I'm going to let you watch one or two replays. Fenix V2, honestly, I think it's a great update. My only negative that I'm thinking of is that pitch. I got to dial that in. It could be a null zone thing, and that's right after touchdown on the reverser spoiler deployment. So got to dial that in. Everything else, though, I really have no complaints. Don't take a 320 off 10,000 pounds overweight single engine, try to go mist in Vegas when it's 35C outside. That's also another thing we learned today. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us, hanging out with me. Appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you may be.
100.
Until the next one, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1.
40.
C is in chat.
30.
Which landing was this? Was this the one where we dropped the nose down? I think it's where I let go of the stick. Yeah, I just let go of the stick, I thought. Or maybe not. Yeah. I don't remember this landing. Oh, was this the go-around? Oh, that was the go-around, yeah. Hold on, don't watch this, don't watch this, don't watch this. Don't watch it.
10.
Here we go. Alright, I'm out here, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, everyone. IEs for life. See you! Damn, that was pretty smooth, y'all. That was pretty smooth. All right, I gotta go. The Phoenix Airbus, quite simply, guys, like shit.